Evening. The Toronto Raptors are victorious against the Cleveland Cavaliers, 124-121. It's the first game of former Knicks RJ Barrett and Immanuel Quickley, and it was a very different looking game for the Raptors because of these guys. So we'll get into that. It's just a completely different looking setup, different looking team, and I thought that the Raptors overall really benefited from it, and we finally get to see a team that has more than one or two guards on it, and Cleveland missing some key pieces. Probably a little bit more exciting to watch without Mobley for like offensively. Just a bit of a tough watch. But they were hitting really tough shots, and Donovan Mitchell was more so the primary creator, kind of like we saw more in Utah. It was a nail biter of a game. Came right down to the end. I thought Scotty and RJ Barrett were very clutch down the stretch, and Pirtle maybe played his best game of the season, maybe after the first Detroit game. And Pascal was kind of going nuts from three in a good way. And I put out on Twitter that he, just getting my water bottle opened here. I closed it as tight as he possibly could, which was really smart for the post-game show. Pascal hit like 5 threes today. So I put on Twitter that his mechanics have changed the last few games. I've noted in the past that, I feel like when he misses, he does this like weird tent pole type three where he just like shoots his arms up as high as he can get them. And it's kind of like how those instant tents go up. And let's get the lighting. Let's get the lighting right here. Jesus. Wow. Okay. Let's do this. Post game show here somewhere where the fuck am I? Florida or some shit. Here in Florida. Beautiful state. Love it here. Very swampy. And so tonight, just a different looking team, a different looking offense, and when Pascal's hitting threes like this, it really looks like a nice product. And you saw that Jakob really benefited from having more guards around him and less kind of bigger wing guys. We saw Chris bite on every Niang pump fake, and this happened last game. I clipped it and I couldn't find it on Twitter. I think the advanced search on Twitter is a bit fucky sometimes. I swear I put it out, but yeah, Boucher, for some reason, anytime Niang breathes, Boucher is launching himself in the air. I don't know if they got something, if they are friends or something, or they have some connection, but wow. It's incredible. Not that Precious had been playing, that well this season, although some Knicks fans are very, very excited about Precious, which has been kind of cool / funny to read. But that backup center now becomes a pretty big hole when you're throwing Thad Young. They dust off Thad Young in this one, put him in the first quarter as a second unit center, and it's tough, man. Like I don't want to rehash, especially after this new trade. I don't want to rehash the past trades, but yeah, it's tough. From the new guys, I really liked how aggressive RJ Barrett was. There was a couple plays where he kind of got caught, either jumping in the air or driving into too much traffic. I think, he kind of needs to find that balance. But I really like how when he does go into traffic, like you saw it on back-to-back plays in the first half and then in the second half as well. I think he ended with 19 points. Don't know why Darko took him out at the end. He's a really good free throw shooter and hitting free throws, and then they take him out of the lineup. And he also made a really kind of high IQ defensive foul at the end, not letting Donovan Mitchell take a three when I don't feel like other Raptors would have done that. That was more like Nick Nurse type shit. Maybe he learned that from Nick. But I feel like in the Darko era, we don't see a lot of that shit. So that was cool to see. Just like high IQ play, kind of not something you see all the time. Intentional foul just to block, because the last thing you need is a three. And yeah, he looked really good. He was maybe a little bit even more impactful than Quickley. But you really liked, or I really liked, Quickley's aggressiveness. I've been dying for someone who can hit a floater on the team. You saw a couple of those tonight. A couple of them rimmed out. He hit a couple threes, which I really liked. He like relocates really well. So I think he hit 2 or 3 threes, but on both of them, or all of them even, it was him passing, him relocating. Like the difference between him and Malachi, I mean, there's many differences, but like when Malachi brings the ball up, he passes it and then he cuts, but it's not a strategic cut. It's not aggressive. He's not cutting to the basket. He's not going to the corner and then rerouting to come back out again. Maybe sometimes he does, but for the most part, it's just like a pass and a little bit of a cut. But I thought with Quickley, he was passing it, cutting, and then getting to a place where he could like receive the three again, which happened a few times. He was like wide open on a couple of them, which was kind of surprising from the Cleveland defense. But yeah, the first quarter in particular was really fun to watch. I had just woken up from my nap thanks to the fireworks last night. I love fireworks, by the way. Just so much better than looking at the stars, and they just sound great, especially at like 3:30 in the morning. Just great. I love fireworks, man. What fun. What fun that is. That's my idea of fun. Fucking amazing. I love it. But yeah, the first quarter they were really jacked up, really ready to go. And I was kind of interested to see how the whole lineup would shake out. And Cleveland, I felt like they're used to the Raptors not having guards. That's going to be something that every team in the league is going to have to like rearrange their scouting reports now that the Raptors have a few guards that they're going to have to account for, because they lost Quickley a few times on threes. Barrett had some nice mismatches that he exploited. They had Sam Merrill out there, Niang on some of them. So he's just gonna take that into the paint. We saw that with Team Canada and some Knicks stuff if you watch it. And maybe kind of the little Raptor moment highlight is what's in the thumbnail when Quickley got the and one. He went over and high-fived a bunch of people in the front row. So that was cool. I don't know if that's like a Madison Square Garden type thing, but we don't really see that too much in Scotiabank Arena. Not too much fan interaction outside of DeAndre DeRozan. So, and that soulless guy who sits next to the Raptors bench every game and just crosses his arms and looks like he wants to die. Other than that, we don't have a lot of like. I guess Nav's pretty into it, but yeah, it's cool to see. I wonder if Quickley and Nav will have some kind of like touchdown end zone celebration at some point. Because first game out, you like to see that. Obviously, he was having fun out there. And what's cool about the RJ Barrett stuff is you can legitimately like see that he's actually deeply happy. It's not like a Darko thing where he's just smiling 24/7. You don't really know, like, are you actually happy, or is this like a hi, this is amazing, this is really good, I'm so excited to be here, I'm like a duck above water. It felt with Barrett like it was like you could really feel the smile coming through. So that was cool. And I thought he played really hard, which he kind of always does. And it's funny watching OG this morning in New York, and he played like a normal OG game. 17 points, 5 rebounds, good defense. But Knick fans just losing their minds, like U.S. media losing their, oh my god, oh my goodness, OG Anunoby, like just, I guess they thought he was just like a throw into the Precious trade from reading some of the Twitter takes that Precious was the best. I've been seeing a lot that Precious was the best defender on the Raptors, not a throw-in, like maybe just as important as OG. I'm seeing a lot of stuff that is kind of fun to read. Not so much about Malachi, but I did notice he had his Raptor Reds on in Madison Square Garden. Malachi did. He was injured, but rocking the Raptors Reds, respect. I wonder how long it'll take Eric Flynn to get banned from MSG for life. The Nick Nursery nicknames are going to continue. What's a good Eric Flynn nickname for James Dolan? James Dolan out the lifetime ban, so that was not good. Alvin had a weird moment in the start of the game where he said he doesn't want Scotty to fall in love with the 3 ball. very cringe. Matt Devlin was like, well, he made 7 of them the other night, and Alvin's like, yeah, but I still see basketball through the lens of when I played, so I don't, yeah, it's whatever. Cool. Good on Matt for pushing back, once in a while. He'll kind of, he'll be like, oh no, that's not correct. Sam Merrill really cooking in this game, and Pirtle way more locked in, so that the white guys really showed up for this game. They were the two. Maybe if you're going to give the chain out, give it to either of those guys for overperforming their role. So, it's I don't know why that's in my notes, but it is. Jakob was very involved in the game. I felt like Quickley just naturally gravitated towards Jakob to getting him the ball and running PNRs, which actually looked a lot better than when Dennis does it even, I thought. And it opened up things, and I just thought Jakob was way more aggressive. Like, I've called him Treebeard in the past. And, of course, if you've seen Lord of the Rings, Treebeard at one point is, like, slowly walking through the forest, which is kind of what I was more pointing at. But they do fuck up Isengard, and he was a little bit more in that fucking up Isengard mode today. So that's really that's really great to see, because it might have been his best game of the season so far. Jakob Hurdle. Maybe he gets. I'm betting. I'm gonna put it out there. I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. I'm putting it out there that he might get the chain. I don't know what the numbers were, but just eye test, I thought he impacted the game a lot. And even when he had like a turnover, he was just like racing back, got a savage block. Just haven't seen that. And I don't know, maybe it's because he's more involved in the offense that he's like giving more of a fuck, trying harder maybe. I mean, I guess that kind of makes sense, new energy into the team. They showed Bob up close, which was kind of funny. It was right after a missed Quickley free throw, which is kind of a funny time to pan to him, but whatever, Sportsnet, cool. We need more close-ups of Bob. I always enjoy seeing him. He was making some funny faces. I put that on Twitter. We had RJ Barrett at 8:49. 2 strong drives in a row. He's got that bully ball thing down pretty well. When he notices there's smaller people, he doesn't waste time. He just like goes right at it. And there was a couple turnovers that he had, but I think it's like a really good trade of his. He also knocked down a 3, which is nice. And I thought that in the second quarter, the offense really fell off when Quickley and Barrett came off the floor. That's when Cleveland went on a run. So there was all this like energy and pace that they both play with. They both play, quickly. It's gonna get. Do Knicks podcasters have to go through that? Had to go through this. It's like, they Quickley plays really quickly. I need to find like a new word. Quickly plays fastly, something like that. You got Siakam spinning off Dean Wade, and they showed the coaches were just laughing. Like the Cleveland coaches were just laughing at it. It was really funny because Dean Wade just didn't really know where he was. And Pascal definitely got away with a travel on one call. It was pretty obvious. The refs were not locked in tonight. They called 21 fouls in the first 19 minutes of this game. Like, it's just oh my God, just like every time down the floor, just like foul. Quickly had 4 fouls in the first couple minutes. Who, by the way, he leads speaking of the offense kind of going back to what we're used to seeing outside of the Pascal 3-ball hitting. He leads the Knicks history in plus minus, which is kind of wild. I did look at briefly looked at his numbers in the show the other day, and he has been a plus every year he's been in the league, whereas Barrett's been a minus every year in the league, which is kind of funny. Based off of like the lineups that they play in, doesn't really make sense. And I haven't really heard, not that I've looked for it, but even like I feel like it was Kevin Pelton was on a pod, and like he couldn't really, like people can't really explain it. Like it doesn't really make sense, but I don't know. But you saw it in this game. I thought that when those two guys went off, we kind of got what we're more used to with the Raptors, and that's where Cleveland really closed the gap. I think the Raptors were up like 18 or something, and then it was much closer at the half. And then it was the start of the third quarter that Quickley started high-fiving everybody, which is kind of a wild time to do the high fives. Like it was 10:09 into the third quarter, so right after the half. People are, 20% of Scotiabank is back in their seats at this point. I don't know how into a game you can get 2 minutes, but yeah, he was super into it and high-fiving multiple people. So I hope that becomes like a, kind of the opposite of Malice in the Palace, like positive crowd interaction. It could be pretty cool for Scotiabank Arena, kind of a can feel vibeless at times. So that's a nice addition. It would be cool if it's the New York boys who deliver the pizza party for the Toronto Raptors. That would be pretty symbolic. Just make sure they're New York slices. And yeah, you got Boucher just oh my god, just biting, man. Speaking of pizza, he just bites. Like he would bite. I think he would bite on my if I played him one-on-one. I talked about this with Will on the pod. Like if you played Chris Boucher one-on-one, God, if you're not pump faking, you're an idiot. Like you gotta at least try, because that man will launch himself. It is wild. And then you got Niang, who's like, I don't know, 4th percentile athleticism. Just there was one play earlier in this year where Niang pumped, Chris like flew like 30 feet in the air, and then Niang just beat Precious off the dribble to the rim. Like it was, I mean, that was the death of Smack's Milk in my opinion, that one play. But yeah, he's just so easy to pump fake. Like, my God. And then Niang just kind of walks into the paint, and I can't remember off the top of my head what he did, but I'm pretty sure I remember it leading to points. So that's just, I know it's like a meme at this point, but like, my fuck, like why, how, like, I don't know how, but yeah. So that is kind of, one thing now that the Raptors definitely need. Like, I don't think they need like they don't need an all-star or even like a Naz Reid level center. They just need definitely. What do I Rain Man? Definitely need another center. Definitely need it. Matt Devlin still committed to the Akuru bit. Guy waving here at the post game show. Yeah, Matt Devlin still locked into the Akuru. Isaac Akuru. He stole that from Alex Wong, because Alex Wong has the Isaac Akuru, Daniel Letoru, Tiramisu, Karyoku. Yeah, that was great. So Devlin really been having fun with the names this year. We also had Brad Fay opening the segment with Barrett, which I thought was interesting, and then Devlin opening with Quickley. So, I don't know if that was pre-planned, but it's like who's going to be the lead kind of story in this thing. But I guess, with RJ playing for Team Canada, the Sportsnet audience. I also want to talk about Yahoo Sports Canada shutting down later on. I'll talk about that later on, because I dug up some new information on that today, and I still think it's funny how it happened, but we'll get into that later. That might be the banter. Also, more Jordan Peterson and Charlotte Park Boys. I've been thinking about that a lot the last couple of days. That was from last show. What a great fit that would be. Oh my God, I still can't stop thinking about how he would integrate. Speaking of RJ and Immanuel Quickley integrating into the Raptors, I can't imagine how smooth that integration would be. But anyways, yeah, Okoro, and then Scotty in this game really coming in clutch down the stretch. And I liked how in the last few possessions it was like he had the ball and everybody knew that he had the ball, and he had a crazy kind of going up and then scooping it under finish, which was really sexy and kind of a big kind of dagger moment. Can someone with lighting? Can I hire someone who knows about lighting? Maybe. He just you felt good with him, and honestly, like Barrett as well down the stretch. Like it just, and this is the cool thing with Barrett that's kind of under talked about in my opinion, is he has really good playoff. Like he's better in the playoffs, and I thought he was pretty good with Team Canada. But you could tell in this game, like he doesn't give a fuck about like the context of, oh, like this is a really big free throw or this is a really big defensive play, or at least he doesn't show it. Like he's not like the type of person that is gonna kind of crumble under that pressure. And the Raptors really need that. Like for all that Siakam has done in his career, he has not been that kind of clutch, kind of game finisher guy. Scotty's obviously still developing, and you've seen a lot more of that this year where he's getting the ball late in games and it's looking good, but he's still developing. It's nice to have a guy like that. Again, I don't know why Darko took him out at the end of the game, but Darko does Darko things, I guess, especially when it comes down to free throws, and he's like an 84% free throw shooter and it hit some clutch free throws in this game. Made the really smart defensive play, and then Darko takes him out, I think, for Dennis. So, my God, are they just like what are they? I don't know, man. But anyways, so didn't understand that, but yeah, you really like having a player like that, and especially a player that can dribble. I mean, he had a couple turnovers, but that was also kind of an overwhelming part of this game. Was you're taking OG and Precious out, and you're putting in Quickley and Barrett. Now, just like points wise, for example, this is a very dumbed down way to look at it, but it's still, it's still a thing. Like OG had 17 points tonight. That's, probably like a normal OG game. Tonight you got 19 from Barrett, I think 14 from Quickley. So just like a normal, say, Precious, Malachi, OG game, you're going to get 25 points there, average 26, maybe 28 on the high end. But with Barrett and Quickley, like you're, well north of 30 on average, probably between the two of them for sure. And tonight, yeah, you hit that, 33? My math, can't do math, but so just kind of that very dumbed down way of looking at it on a team that really needs scoring. And you saw it tonight, ends up being a one possession game. That extra scoring punch that you have now, trading OG, Precious, and Malachi for Quickley and Barrett, really kind of showed itself tonight, in my opinion. And more broadly, you're taking OG and Precious, two guys that it's debatable whether they can dribble or not, and you've got Quickley, who's got a great handle, and Barrett, who's got like a not like amazing handle, but like a good enough handle, like a good handle. On the Raptors, probably like the third or fourth best handle on the Raptors, probably just out of the gate. So you just really increase the ball handling ability for a team that just needs it like so badly. And it looked different. And I thought in this game, like, if Cleveland doesn't Cleveland hit a bunch of really tough shots. I don't know how likely or repeatable some of them were. And, if the Raptors played this way in a bunch of their games this season, their record would be a lot different. And I thought both teams played well in this game. Like, I thought this was a good game of basketball to watch. Like, this was an enjoyable game. The Raptors went 11 for 30 from 3, 37%. So you like that. And for the three balls, like Pascal 5 for 8. Talked about his mechanics at the top. Maybe go back into that a little bit more. Quickley 2 for 5. Dennis and Gary going 2 for 10 from 3. So this is a good one. The old guard. I gotta work that in somehow to future thing. The old guard. I guess the more times I gas it up, the less sexy it gets. But yeah, the old guard was kind of tough tonight. Dennis 3 for 7, Gary 3 for 10, so 6 for 17 from those guys. Barrett 6 for 12, Quickley 5 for 13. They weren't that efficient either in general, but you kind of have to give them a bit of leeway. Someone like Gary, someone like Dennis, they've got 33 games. Gary a lot more with this team already. They know all the sets. They know how everything moves. Whereas Barrett, Quickley, you're just inserting them kind of blind into a new system. It's going to take them a little bit longer to figure stuff out. And I thought in the context of that, they overall did well with that. Like, I thought they performed well. And yeah, maybe it is as simple as, like, the Raptors really need scoring. And like we talked about this, and this is kind of a hot topic in the NBA now, where do you really need that like number one awesome defense? Like, the Timberwolves have the top defense, and they lost to the Knicks. The OG Anunoby, Precious Achiuwa, Malachi Flynn led Knicks beat the number one defense today. So it's like, is defense, I think, has lost a lot of the cachet. A big part of that is the NBA rules. Like, you can't really play defense. I mean, the refs called 21 fouls in the first 19 minutes of this game, so that's part of it. And then offenses have just gotten, so much more complex, so much smarter. Like when the Warriors used to play how they played with all that ball movement and shooting, it was like, oh my god, it's like a revolutionary. There were only a few teams like the Spurs, like the 2000 Suns, like outside of teams that had bona fide superstars, very few teams had like good offensive, well-oiled machine systems, and now like 26 of the teams do. Raptors kind of debatable, included in maybe one of the 4 that don't, but they're trying, So yeah, and honestly, like this trade, specifically the OG Quickley Barrett trade, is very like defense for offense in a lot of ways, but and like with Precious too, like probably again, we've got Nick fans saying that Precious was the best defender on the Raptors, better defender than OG, I guess. I have way too much fun. Maybe I should later on go into the Knicks sub and read some of the stuff. We're really, really excited about Precious. He had one play today where I don't want to talk about this. Just I'll talk about this for 20 seconds. I apologize for. I mean, he just went to the rim, missed it. Got his own rebound, missed it again at the rim. Like 2 misses at the rim in like 4 seconds, and Mike Breen's like. It reminded me of for any of the old heads. I think it was the '95 Eastern Conference Finals or Finals, where it's like one of the most famous sports calls like of all time. It's someone Smith on the Knicks missed like 2 or 3 shots at the rim, and it's Herb Alpert going, Smith, no, Smith, no, oh Smith, no, Smith, and it like they lost the game, and it was just like this. Sounded like someone who was dying making that call. And today, Mike Breen, it just kind of brought me flashes. Oh, I should make that edit. That'd be a great edit to make. But Mike Breen going like, Precious misses at the rim, misses again. and then he said, that's the presence of Rudy Gobert. And I'm like, no, it's not that complicated. It's not that complicated. So yeah, his upside is, I guess, more on the defensive end. So is OG Anunoby. I mean, again, today he got 17 points. New York, it's the second coming for them. They thought he was just like a Chris Boucher type or something, but yeah. And I think like for RJ and Immanuel, they don't like blow you out of the water in this game, but a good improvement in not only watchability but ball handling, speed, movement. I didn't feel like they were kind of stuck in the corner. They were cutting a lot. Again, quickly got his threes from passing and then doing meaningful cuts and relocating into places where he's going to get the ball again. And then yeah, when Pascal's going 5 for 8 from 3, that really helps. And I just think it's interesting about his like mechanics, because it's noticeably different in my opinion when he's missing and when he's hitting. Like when he's hitting, like today, I know he had an air ball, but 5 for 8, like it just looks way more like his mid-range shot. It's like the same release point, same follow through, same arc, like flatter arc, and I guess lower release point. I don't know why in the past, whether there's coaching or him, but he started doing this, and I've talked about this like a million times. The Basketball Maven had a problem with this, and then they never came back into the chat again, but shouts to them. But just on his threes where he's been missing, like shooting his arms up really high and getting that release like fully, and it led to so many like just high arcing boom, like, and the guy's like 6'10", 6'11". You don't need like a Chris Boucher release if that's not your natural shot, and it's not his natural shot, because when he shoots free throws, when he shoots from the mid range, he shoots it like normal, and he was shooting normal today, and it went 5 for 8, and he's been shooting normal the last few games, and it's been going in a lot more. So hopefully, whatever is going on with coaching or with him, with the mechanics, that he sticks with with these mechanics. Trust me, if I put the two side by side on a similar shot, it would be noticeable if I slowed it down and like just like the elbow position today is here instead of like, like. So it's a really, if that becomes a trend, that's a really big improvement. And you got to give shouts to Jakob in this game. 14 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 blocks. I mean, you're going to get your 4 turnovers, 5th highest turnover rate in the NBA. I think he dropped a little bit. I think he's 10th now, last time I checked. 10th or 12th or something. But he was 5th for a while. So, but yeah, just a much more impactful game from him. And you got Boucher. So again, talking about your backup center position, you've got Boucher and Thad. They only combined for 13 minutes, but you get 0 points from them. It's tough. Even in 13 minutes, you would want Thad Young 0 for 0 from the field. Chris Boucher 0 for 0 from the field. 0 for 0 free throws. 0 for 0 free throws. Thad Young, 0 rebounds, 0 assists, 0 steals, 0 blocks, 0 turnovers. Chris Boucher, 1 rebound, 0 assists, 0 steals, 0 blocks, like just 0 point, like just Tony Snell for both of them. And Thad's looked really tough out there. I mean, it's bit of a head scratcher that he's coming in before Boucher, before Jonte Porter, who was there on the bench. He's not a center. And by the way, McDaniels, see you later, buddy. After that last game, that's Darko's. That's where Darko's at with McDaniels. Did not touch the floor after last game's. Just, my God, was he bad in that game against Detroit. Like, my fuck. After a great Celtics game, he just, like, diarrhea sprayed all over the basketball court again in Detroit. Like, my fuck, that was disgusting. And then tonight, I forgot he even existed. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I forgot. I don't think he's injured or anything. McDaniels, DNP coach's decision. Otto Porter, DNP coach's decision. Freeman Liberty was up for this game, and Jonte Porter and Grady Dick. None of them saw the floor. So, still don't really know what the thought process is. He literally is just doing what Nick did with, like, we're going to throw Thad in at the small ball center. We're going to start giving Pascal his normal minutes again. So I guess that's a positive development, but it is also kind of funny. But good that he's, I guess overall adjusting to the realities. And he's, you got to give Darko credit. He's been a little bit more loose with things after game 28. He's experimenting more. And now that you've got more guards, like you've got debatable, but 4 playable guards, you can do a lot more balancing lineups out. And you saw that again tonight. Like there's always going to be guards to be had. You don't have to do Scotty, Thad, Boucher, Precious, McDaniels. And yeah, I mean, I've talked about this before, but you can really rebalance rosters with maybe not one trade, but like another trade and a half. You can start to really, rebalance things. I'll read the chats in a sec, but what did you guys think about this one? Was it more enjoyable of a watch? I felt it was just more ball handly, more movement, quicker, faster pace, and Cleveland kind of got bailed out by their very difficult shot making. I thought the effort was really there, and don't know if there's any. I guess the Raptor moment episode in this one is Immanuel Quickley going for the front row high fives. That was pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, just looking at Cleveland, I mean, you got Karis LeVert coming off the bench, 31 points, Merrill 16 points. They performed much better than some of the starters, even like Max Strus. I didn't even forgot he even existed. He had 6 points in this game. Dean Wade, as more fireworks go off behind me deep in the distance. What a lovely sound that is. It's just so worth it, you know. Dean Wade, 2 points in this game. Tough. Okodu, 16 points, minus 17. So, yeah, you got some really nice punch from LeVert and Merrill. Of course, yeah, LeVert 12 for 20 in this game. It's kind of surprised he's not starting sometimes. I mean, he had that 51 burger a couple years ago. Kind of random, but yeah, what'd you guys think? Did people go to fireworks? Do you guys like fireworks? What did people do for New Year's? Not that I really care. Of course.
Yeah, LeVert 12 for 20.
Saying words until I get the chat open here. OG3 says, did you see Scotty completely wave off and turn around when Okoro took that clutch three? Yeah, they were just sagging off of Okoro. Alex has to ask Matt Devlin about that next time he's on the show. Okoro. They were sagging off Okoro like you don't see that too often. Kind of surprised I don't have that in my notes, but I definitely remember like 6 or 7 times where they did that. It kind of reminds me of that clip that went viral of Nurkic, just when Randall was about to shoot, Nurkic just like turns his head and just walks the other direction as he's missing it. Yeah, I mean, there were some, I don't think there was ever any hard rumors, but like, you know, OG being a candidate for Cleveland because, I mean, their team is weirdly built too in different ways. Like they just have no wings. Like Isaac Okoro's their starting wing guy. Like that's insane if you're wanting to like win anything. Like just he's cheeks on offense. Like it's like what did he do tonight? Look, like he's 5 for 10 in 27 minutes, and I felt like he was wide open like the whole game. And I think it's kind of at the point where like Cleveland doesn't really want him. They already have a bunch of really good 3-point shooters, so it's like, again, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, what's the value of him in a league where defense is getting less and less and less sexy? Jason says it's nice not to watch Precious put more into his fit than his ability to play. Yeah, he's gonna have a lot of fun in New York. Really good fashion scene there. A lot of art museums. I'm probably gonna see like videos of him at the Guggenheim where you can go in and see like, this is a tennis ball that Kurt Cobain used in 1991, and we've put it next to this like chicken scratch fence thing, which is next to a 75-foot painting that's just an orange square, and it's worth $47 million. Like he's gonna be like all into that shit in New York City. So that's exciting for him on the court. I don't really know how Tibbs is gonna do it, but yeah. Chris Mack says, with the opportunity, IQ has the chance to be Maxey-like, in my opinion. I mean, that's a pretty big expectation. I definitely think he has the same player profile, but that would be a huge jump. Not saying it's not going to happen, but same player profile, like you saw tonight with the floaters, with the 3-ball. And the other thing that's nice about Quickley is you can tell he has that confidence. He has that kind of aura about him. I mean, you know, high-fiving people in the front row in your first game, 2 minutes after the halftime break, like he's a confident, you know, seen pictures of him riding a horse. Like he's a confident person, I think. And you need that, and not only confident, but confident in a way of like he moves in a very confident way, you know, on the floor. His body language is very positive, and it's those types of players. I think especially like smaller guards, like you really have to have that if you're gonna make a Maxey-esque leap. But that is a big leap. If he gets anywhere near that, I mean, it's a fleece by the Toronto Raptors. I love how somebody wanted me to grade the trade the other day, as if grades are like flexible. Like I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but once you get a grade like in high school, like that's your grade. Like it doesn't change a year later when you do something or whatever. So I don't understand like this whole grading a trade the day it happens before anything is like. What if RJ Barrett like gets hit by a bus or something? Like I don't know. Or what if they don't re-sign or something? I don't like the whole grading thing because it's not flexible. And I didn't do well in school. Lyle Ugman. Oh, this is a deep cut. Bro, just stop. The Maven already told you can't affect where your shot lands on the rim. Oh God. So people don't know. There was this guy, or maybe person, by how dumb the comments were, I'm assuming it's a guy. The basketball maven, they have a Twitter account as well, I think 4 followers or something, but the basketball maven came into the chat. I was talking about Pascal's mechanics and like OG's mechanics and where the shots were missing, and they told me like you can't control where your shot hits on the rim. And it's like, okay, I can't control like whether a meteor hits the earth. I can't control what, like, I mean, I guess in theory, yeah, you can't control, or else it would go in perfectly every single time. But that's such a fucking like dumb way to anyways, I don't want to go down that road. But yeah, no, you can definitely affect your shot is definitely affected. And it's like the same people who say like a loss is a loss or a win is a win. It's like, okay, well, when you're shooting, is a miss? Like if you miss it and it's just a little bit, there's like just not enough arc and it just hits the front of the rim and everything in your body felt perfect and the mechanics were all perfect and everything was, it just needed a little bit more. Are you internalizing that as the same as just fucking bricking it off the bottom left corner? Like, what are we doing, folks? Anyways, I don't want to go down that path. That's the Basketball Maven episode was dark. If you guys want to go find, that might have been like the third or fourth live stream, but I have not seen the Maven. I have not seen the Maven around here in a little while. We got some Knick fans in the chat. OG3 says this is a compilation of Mike Breen calls of precious mishaps gonna go crazy. I don't know why I never realized this until today, but Mike Breen, like he's a great commentator. I love how he's always in like Game 7 playoff mode, even like January 1st, Knicks Wolves at like 8 a.m. He's still, in his but he has this way. I don't know how I've never noticed this before. Has anybody else noticed this? But now that I've noticed that I can't like unhear it. He has this way. It's really subtle when he does these calls where it's like he's really it's hard to describe it. He's like really surprised. There's like a shock to it. But it is almost like in a negative voice. It's like someone, like, he just spilled my coffee on me. Like, he just punched me. Like, I don't know. It's hard to, but it has that little bit of, like, I don't know what the word is. There was this old Canadian PSA, like an anti-domestic violence PSA, where there's this dude at a restaurant with his family. This was, like, big on the internet, like, 10 years ago. But, like, the waitress, like, pours coffee like on his crotch, like by accident, I guess, and he's just like, she spilled my coffee, and he just beats the shit out of her. It's an anti-domestic violence ad, but I don't know why. Like that's where my brain went, was just like, she spilled my coffee. That's Mike Breen. Every like he I don't know, he just always has that like tonality to his voice. So yeah, the Precious Achua yeah, highlight reel. Also, I got to do a Chris Boucher biting on Georges. Is it how do you say Georges? I was shocked. He's just like, he's like an American guy. Like, I'm Georges Niang, and I'm from Wisconsin, and I play basketball. Him and Max Strus. I was expecting Max Strus to also have some crazy accent. Your name's Georges Niang, Max Strus, and they're both just like, yeah, I'm from America, play basketball. I was like, okay, that's disappointing. I was expecting some crazy like Dennis Schroeder type thing. Oh, sorry, Dennis. Been working on that a lot. Because everybody says Dennis Schroeder. But But I love it when Herbie does it. It's correct. It's the way the Germans wanted it. This is the language. These are the people that Hitler thought was like chosen by like the gods of ancient Atlantis. These were the people that the Third Reich, Lebensraum. We deserve to take over the world, and our language is like. It reminds me of the Simpsons episode where Bart witnesses the murder. Chow there. It's chowder. Sorry everyone for that. Dennis, I don't know how Herbie, because he does a crazy Pirtle as well. It's like Jakob Pirtle. Herbie's an interesting Twitter follow. He has some political views, I guess. Interesting, going interesting. I know he's very in touch with God, so yeah. But yeah, Dennis. Where's Dennis on the pecking order now in terms of guards? I mean, obviously you've got Quickley and Barrett starting. Is him and Gary are kind of, I mean, different position, but kind of where I guess they're kind of tied. Was there a bit of an old toy syndrome when they were playing without Barrett and Quickley? I kind of want to. I don't want to watch. I don't know why I said I do want to watch. I don't want to watch those minutes in the second quarter again where Barrett and Quickley went off and the offense just kind of went back to what we're used to. I can't remember who was on the floor for that. I can't remember if Scotty was on the floor for that. But speaking of how this trade will affect Scotty and like his play style and how the Raptors want to play, I talked about this in the past where OG is a good fit for Scotty, but I don't think it's like the ideal fit. And I think he will benefit from playing with guys who can handle, who are quicker, not necessarily like incredible passers, but it's going to open up the floor for him more. He's going to have more space to operate when you've got people you've got to, worry about. Quickly, he's got gravity out, further out than Dennis and Gary do. So you really got to worry about that. And so if you're kind of like backcourt is Scotty and Quickley, that's a bitch to defend. Especially if Scotty's hitting the three, like if that continues, like, because you've got to send people out there. So you're taking people out of the paint, you're taking people away from the corners. And so this is kind of, it's curious when this trade happened, being December 30th, because I think they want to see how it fits. And I think that's actually smart. Like, you do have to give, shit on the front office a lot. I think that is smart. Get it done a bit early. See not to evaluate again, but you're evaluating a new thing now. And you've got a month and a half, I guess, before the trade deadline to really see. And then it's like, okay, maybe we need a corner three guy. Maybe it doesn't have to be like defense first team, all defense or whatever, but guy that can hit a corner three and maybe a backup center. And now all of a sudden it's like, oh, wow, the roster, makes a lot of sense. It works really well. And, with how it's built right now, a huge generator of that is going to be that perimeter kind of calculation that other teams are going to have to make now that you have a point guard. Because with Dennis being at point, I mean, you saw it, like no one is going, oh fuck, Dennis has the ball 28 feet from the hoop, like get out there. Even like toes at the 3-point line with screens, like people are not, giving their all to fucking get over the screen and make sure they get on a Dennis. It's more like, if he shoots the shot, he shoots the shot. They're kind of 33% 3-point shooter, both Quickly when he's at 40%. It's just completely different animal. So, Yeah, and teams are going to have to kind of rewrite their scouting reports because this is a much different looking roster, and it is a big change. Like it's 5 players changing. So, thought we might see some Jonte Porter tonight. I definitely think. I mean, hey, if you're Jonte Porter, which by the way, if you've watched him in the 905, he's looked like great in the 905, like really good. The first game I watched was like his best game, and I was like, who the fuck is this? Like, it's just kind of wild. I think he had like 23 points in the first quarter or something. It's like 8 for 8 from the field, hitting threes, hitting mid ranges, just like damn. And the 3 ball looks. I mean, he's Michael Porter Jr.'s brother. Maybe there's a little genetics there with like arm length and form and stuff. But yeah, I mean, it looks great. And if you're him, I mean, you're in a great position right now. You've got Boucher. By the way, Boucher makes what does Boucher make? 13 million or something? Okay. You've got Boucher, Thad, and kind of McDaniels. Like, who's in front of you right now if you're Jonte Porter is what I'm saying. It's with how he's looked in the G League and with how the backup center position, I mean, to be honest, even with Precious, the backup center position has been really lacking. And this team has really lacked centers. And, I mean, no one knows what's happening with Koloko. Like, I mean, I guess some people do, but no one's saying anything, which, whatever. But that doesn't seem like it's changing anytime soon. So, by the way, he had a huge jacket on in this. I hope he's okay. That was a big coat. Seinfeld, big coat. It's Gore-Tex. You like saying Gore-Tex, don't you? That was a Larry David episode, The Dinner Party, season 5, episode 17, I believe. One of the rarer, kind of later-ish season Larry David episodes, The Dinner Party. Another Bobka? Someone's asking about Grady. Yeah, I don't know. It's it hasn't looked. I don't know. And if you're Jonte Porter, great. You got, in terms of opportunity, like you've got this kind of hole now, a backup center. You've been playing great in the G League. Grady, you're the exact opposite. You've played like ass in the G League. No disrespect. Again, do I have to go through his numbers again? 17th highest field goal percentage on the 905, 15th highest true shooting percentage on the 905, 143rd best 3-point percentage in the G League. And now you've got 2 more guards coming in, and you swapped out Malachi, who is definitely, ideally, someone you probably should or could have gotten minutes over. I mean, different positions, but with the modern NBA, a lot of funky lineups. I mean, you never know. So, but yeah, he's kind of in a tough spot now, and it's partially the team, needing different things, but also partially he just has absolutely not performed like a 13th pick so far. Obviously, it's still early, but not even close. Not even a hint of being close. It was actually just randomly on the high-low, I was just watching all of his possessions, because my new thing now is I'm just going to start making more compilations with random songs, like random music. Like I did a Jaylen Brown turnovers to Just Like Heaven by The Cure. I don't know, it just worked. So I'm just like going through different possible compilations just set to music. And I was just watching all of Grady Dick's possessions. And I think it can kind of get lost in everything else, but just watching his possessions like with the Raptors this year, when you watch them all in succession of each other, when you're just kind of watching him, it's like it's just looked really tough. Like really tough. Like really not even the whole thing with him was coming in was he was going to be a liability on defense. Like he's a liability on both fences. So not ideal. Quality experiences. Words can't describe how happy I am Malachi Flynn is no longer a Toronto Raptor. Theo Russo, can you chug like Darko with the water bottle? No, I don't think I've ever drank water like that. I made a little 5-second GIF, whatever on Twitter with the sound effects and stuff. Yeah, I think even playing sports, I don't think I think there's more efficient. I don't think he was like efficiently drinking the water either. Like if you really want to fucking drive, if you really want to drive that liquor in your system, bud. We'll get into some Jordan Peterson, Trailer Park Boys stuff later. But if you really want to drive that liquor into you, I think it's more about like, let me put the cap back on. I think it's more about bottle position. Because Darko, because I zoomed in on it like 1,000,000%. He had the bottle at like this angle, and he was like crunching. You just gotta go like this. Like if you tip the bottle like this, and you take it like it's just gonna go down so much faster, and then you don't have to like fucking death grip it. Like he was literally like he was holding it like this and like squeezing the water into his mouth. It was wild. It's like a gerbil. By the way, I don't like the whole plastic thing, but I found this in my house and I've just been using it out of punishment. Just ingesting lots of plastics, probably. This is actually the Blue Jays farm team affiliate. Vancouver Canadians. Former home of, the fuck's that guy's name? David Schneider or something? Davis Schneider? Anyways. Someone talking about Jalen Suggs. We're going to skip that because who the fuck cares? Lyle Ugman. I feel like there was a FIBA World Cup every 3 months. Dennis would be a much better player year-round. He got a buff from that and it wears off. I mean, different environment. I mean, I never was big on the whole, like, oh my God, look what he's doing in the EuroLeague. I mean, or in World Cup. I mean, if you're going to base it off like World Cup, then put Evan Fournier in the starting NBA lineup. Like, that doesn't mean shit. I never got high on it, never got low on it. And I don't think it's that interesting to fucking talk about Mr. Uggleman. You've had some other good comments though, so I'm not mad at you. Vegan Grass. What's Scotty's ideal position? Is it PG and move quickly to a secondary ball handler? I mean, I think it depends on the lineup. Like, it depends who else is out there. I know it's kind of a hacky answer, but I don't know if it's that black and white. I mean, I think it's good if both of them are initiating. You know, obviously context is important too. Like you saw in this game, down the stretch and the more clutch possessions, it was Scotty who had the ball and quickly didn't ask for it. He didn't want it. It was like, here you go. And then he went to his spot. Like, he knew the pecking order. So, but I mean, you know, if it's first quarter and you're getting the juices and energy going, like, yeah, they can, you know, they can share it. I don't think Quickly's going to be like a super dominant, like a ball dominant point guard. That's why, you know, a few weeks ago when we were talking about trades, I didn't say Quickly in particular as an example, but he's the exact type of player I wanted with Scotty, who, you know, has point guard qualities, but isn't necessarily, it's not going to be a Damian Lillard where it's like he needs to have a 30% usage rate or you're not running your offense correctly. I don't think that would have been a great fit. Maybe it would have. I mean, who the fuck knows? But long term, I do think this is a good fit. So I think, yeah, both of them firing, especially if Scotty's hitting threes at, you know, even if Scotty's hitting league average threes, and Quickly, you know, maintains his 40% 3-point shooting. His pull-up numbers are really good too. And I noticed in this game, I don't think he had a pull-up three in this game. I think all of his threes were assisted. And that's kind of like the pull-up three is kind of the ultimate green light kind of shot. So that could be a thing of, hey, it's your first game, new team, you come out, you do a pull-up three. I mean, I think it's normal for that's just like normal psychology. But I think as he gets more comfortable, as he learns the systems more, I do think there will be more pull-up threes. And when he's hitting pull-up threes, that's going to give Scotty more room for his threes and for his drives. So that's why it's such a good fit, because when I almost called him Maxi, kind of similar names too. Quickly Maxi. You could ad lib. Anyways, both Kentucky as well, I think. Kind of funny. But yeah, if you've got teams that really have to kind of panic when he's hitting pull-up threes, you're taking the attention away from Scotty, which is perfect because then Scotty's going to be wide open. So, and then when Scotty's initiating and he's doing really well, they're going to have to send people, and then Quickley will be open. So I think their skill sets work really well together. And I think if they're both aggressive, both initiating, that's a sexy backcourt. And then on defense too, like Quickley's got good length, and he's not like an amazing defender, but like he's a good defender. And again, with the way the NBA is going, it's becoming more and more apparent that you just kind of need like good defenders. Like you don't necessarily need like the Alfred Paytons of the world are kind of out of the league at this point. If you're just a defensive player, it's not like it was in even like 3-4 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, really. I mean, that was in the Roy Hibbert era. That was dark. Other than the Cleveland Warriors finals, that was a dark era. Wasn't really a Raptors fan back then, so I think that was a different type of darkness. But yeah, both guys are Montverde alum. Hermes Currybro says, Darko says Grady Dick is working on a special program right now, strengthening. Okay, but I mean, is there a player in the NBA who's not working on a strengthening program? I don't know. It's just you're just gonna get you're good, you know, especially a rookie. Yeah, you're what is Grady weigh? 120 pounds, 6'8". Yeah, we're just gonna stay the way you are. Just maintain. Just keep that level going. We don't want you to get any strong. Oh god, he's working on a strengthening program. Do you guys buy a lot of this shit, by the way, like that the people, coaches and stuff say? Or is this more of like a self-aware thing? Or are you actually like, oh, he's working on a strengthening program? I'm still mad about the fireworks, by the way. More Keegan Murray trade talk. Okay, Hermes Curry, bro. Pascal Siakam is shooting 41% from 3 in 14 games since December 1st. Yeah, his shot has looked different. And it's been noticeable. Now that I'm talking about it more, I should make that a little side by side because yeah, it's a notable difference. Speaking of videos, I did drop a video earlier today. Adam Silver talking about his underwear with Will and Blake on the Raptors show. Also a little Henry Kissinger that he threw in there. Threw a little Slayer on top of that. So go check that out. That came out today. But maybe a Pascal 3 video should be on the list. I think I'm gonna put out an OG Anunoby supercut. So just like all the Raptor moments, OG Anunoby videos, kind of do some editing, but like it'll probably be like 12-15 minutes, I think. So look out for that. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it for the chat. Pretty much it for my notes. So yeah, last time we talked about it actually came. I was trying to do Bubbles' voice, like Ricky, why are you buying all this dope? That was really bad, by the way. I wasn't even really trying to do it, but it turned out that it was Ricky. No, I can't do it. I think I used to be able to do it in high school, but it came out as Jordan Peterson, and then it just hit me how perfect Jordan Peterson in Trailer Park Boys would be. Like, you could slot him into any episode. And I, kind of went through some of the specific episodes, like the Hash Driveway, the Green Bastard, Steve French. Like, these are all good episodes for him to be in. Is that all you guys do is sit around and smoke dope? But his character, I realized that after, would be incredible. He'd be a minor character. Like, he's not going to be a main character on the show, but like a minor, like a Sam Losco type character. Maybe even a little bit more than Sam Losco. Maybe on par with like a Lucy. Or she's kind of a, yeah, about that. Between Lucy and Sam Losco, but he would be friends. So the thing that would make it really unique is he would be friends with Ray because they love the Bible. They're talking about the sparrows with Ricky, and he would be very into psychology, self-help, and he would try to like gain access to people's inner emotions in life, and manipulation, of course, like through these like self-help psychology type of things. But he would be friends with Ray, and then obviously he would be friends with George Green, the police officer. And then who's the other police officer that comes in the later season? I can't remember. But that would be a very rare kind of bridge between Ray and the police. So that was pretty interesting. And then obviously, he's also going to disapprove of Randy and Leahy dressing up in Bumblebee costumes and fucking each other. And George Green obviously doesn't like Leahy. That's kind of not a central conflict, but a ongoing conflict. So you have that as well. Just so it's incredible. I think, and you could see him like even if he just dressed like he does like normal, like a denim kind of button-up shirt, a belt kind of tucked into like khaki pants. I'd say he's got a nicer trailer. Like he's got one of the nicer trailers. I think he could be like an old school teacher that got fired for an unknown reason, and he's just living in this trailer park. And he doesn't like always hang out with Ray, but there's some good scenes with Ray, and like he wants to be cool with the boys because he sees them as having like a kind of dominant personality, like Ricky, yeah, and when they're gonna put the hash, it's like, so the episode where they go into the high school, and Ricky gets the job as the janitor, of course, gets the jacket, the Letterman jacket, going for his grade 10, and they put hash in the lockers overnight. That's how they move hash from the driveway. That could be his old school that he used to teach at, and he could tell them exactly where all the like alarms are and security is. So like he would come in on harebrained schemes along with the boys, because he wants to be kind of a part of kind of male companionship, especially with the cool guys in the park who are kind of like the dominant, kind of the dominant people, especially in terms of the story, but also kind of the real life setting of the park. He would definitely, Julian, he would drool over Julian. Bubbles, he'd probably be, advocating that he get the electric chair, but Julian, Ricky, he would love it. He's got the accent. He's got the attitude, because everybody, like a lot of people on that show kind of have that snarky, like, fuck you. Like, it's just, I can't stop thinking about it. Anybody else? What do you guys think in the chat? Kind of went deep on it last time, but I think it's a good bit.
Advocating that he get the electric.
I think it would work. Pale Fox, I get my man therapy from Michaela Peterson. That's his daughter, right? She dated Andrew Tate, by the way. So, that's kind of a funny, like, social experiment, I guess. Like, if you parent in that way, your kids are gonna go like, hey, Andrew Tate seems like a cool guy. Who, by the way, I made a video about with Ben Carlos from last year. Ben Carlos still reaches out to me over that video, either by LinkedIn or email. Still upset about it. He told people, he said, take your best shot at me to the world. And I was like, people are always going off on social media. What if I actually like took this to heart? And it was this really stupid idea. And I was like, it was one of the 20 videos, not 20, one of the 8 videos I was thinking of doing. And I had it written down on my Google Drive with like a few jokes or a few references or whatever. And sometimes I put out on Twitter like, oh, this would be a funny video to do. So I go on vacation to Fino, British Columbia. I go surfing, no internet, disconnected. We're in a campground. And I get back and I've got like these messages from this burner. Immediately noticed it was a burner. This like blonde chick, and asking me about like, when's the video coming out? Where's the video? What about the video? And it's just so obvious that it was him. And the fact that he like is still fucking pissed about it. But yeah, so that was the Raptor Moments Andrew Tate video. If you guys haven't seen that, Nolan Jacobson, would his crackpot psychology come into play too? Would he try to solve everyone's problem by telling them to clean their rooms? Yeah, I mean cleaning their room for sure. But yeah, no, definitely like his psychology of there's an excerpt in his book where he talks about this like toddler at the park, this 2-year-old kid, as he was there with his daughter, I guess Michaela, who was 3 at the time. And there's this 2-year-old kid there who was like the bully, being the alpha, by the way, being the lobster. And I guess the kid was being a dick. And Jordan Peterson says, like in the book, that he wishes, or a part of him wishes, he would have drop kicked the toddler 30 feet in the air, and it would have made the toddler a better person, like as an adult. So yeah, I mean, if you're a child and you get randomly beaten by a stranger, that is definitely gonna do wonders for your mental health. And yeah, he all like a lot of that stuff. Pet every cat. Oh yeah, Bubbles with the cats. I didn't think about that. Hey, you guys gotta pet these cats, eh? That's why he rules, man. Like he just takes the most like boring, like just most mundane shit. Oh, by the way, shouts out to this guy on Twitter named Suraj, I think his name is. He's got, his thing is like, as I put this clip, I put the Jordan Peterson Trailer Park Boys clip on Twitter out, and he got really mad about it. And his account, you can't write this. It says pro India, and his profile picture is Winston Churchill. Like just like I want to get him on this show. Like you can't. I could not write that. I could not write that. And it's a bigger trend that, if you make fun of like the Jordan Petersons, the Ben Shapiros, or whatever, people really get, like, people are really into that shit, man. Like they get offended like fuck. Which is funny because those guys completely have no manners and just shoot spray bullets at anyone and everything, socially, of course. But when you go back at them, it becomes quite a task. So that was a really funny interaction. Shouts to that guy. But yeah, no, he would be. So he would probably want Bubbles to be like euthanized or something. But he would also be like into the cats. What's the other one? What other one of the rules where it's like, if a kid is skateboarding, don't interrupt them. That's like rule 11. There's the whole subculture of this shit. There's Ryan Hollins is probably the biggest purveyor. Tim Ferriss. They just pre-package this shit, very Alcoholics Anonymous, like, where there's like the 12 steps, but they're all packaged from other places. Like Bill Wilson packaged a lot of stuff from a book called Varieties of Religious Experiences in the 20s. Bill Wilson, the founder of AA, was a stockbroker for 3 years and then wrote the fourth best-selling book of all time. And I used to work with stockbrokers, so I know the mentality. But yeah, you just take pre-packaged stuff, you put it together, and then you call it the whatever, and then people are like, wow, this is I had never heard of. There's a lot of people in Alcoholics Anonymous, I may have spent time there, who think that AA like invented meditation. Like one of the most common things you'll see at a meeting is a lot of people like Jordan Peterson in AA, by the way. But a lot of people will say like, man, if the rest of the world did stuff like meditate and journal and apologize, what a world it would be. If these things that we invented, if only people in regular society would take inventory, take stock of what they do. If only they had an inner monologue, like we do. We do. Stonecutters. You are banished from the Stonecutters. That guy rules. The main Stonecutter guy. Who does that voice? Stone. It's not Kelsey Grammer, is it? The Stonecutters. I can see the Simpsons are unwatchable. The Simpsons are hack. I can see the Simpsons doing a Jordan Peterson episode, you know, but he needs to be like in the original Trailer Park Boys episodes or like the season 28 or whatever they're in now. But yeah, I love his conversations with Ray. Would just be like the Sparrow is the tip of the iceberg. The Sparrows, Rick. Fucking Sparrows. But yeah, yeah, his like psychology stuff, you know, the drop kicking children at the playground. If you have anxiety, go introduce yourself to 20 people a day. Just wow. That's the thing with him. It's either like the most extreme example or just the most like obvious thing that you should do. And if you combine those two, then you have a system, you know, you have a sequence of steps that you can go through. But you don't really hear too much about him anymore. He's kind of washed. He's kind of in his like remember when Axl Rose would wear like football jerseys and show up like 3 hours late to Guns N' Roses concerts? I feel like that's kind of, I think people realize, because like he would always get these props for like going on like Channel 4 or whatever and talking to that dumb bitch on Channel 4 who's like just reads the teleprompter and then he just goes in and like destroys someone who probably reads like 12 books a year or something. Whenever he goes against an intellectual, he just gets fucking eviscerated. I think people kind of realize that. But that's got to be the most boring way to like promote culture. Or is like we're gonna change the liberal culture through debate. It's like, why don't you like make music or movies or something, like something people might actually be affected by? You know what I mean? Make the Trailer Park Boys. get it with the. Is that all you guys do? Is sit around and smoke dope? Do you guys have you guys? Fuck, it always goes into Mike LaGrange. It's always like Cape Your Net. It's Cape Your Net. It's like, my name is Mike LaGrange, and I got RJ Barrett in this game. Pretty aggressive down the stretch there. Quickley, he's looking pretty good in the Raptors jersey there. You got Immanuel Quickley, of course. But then Kate also does that too. Like, hey everybody. I guess it's a very popular way of talking. She doesn't talk like that at dinner parties. By the way, update: Savannah Hamilton's mom still following me on Twitter. Still following. Looked at her. I didn't go deep, but I looked at a couple of her likes. One of the first ones that came up was from Raptors Truth. If you guys know who that is, so I think at Raptors Slander on Twitter. I think. Interesting character. But yeah, if she's liking that shit, maybe I have a license to be unhinged and wild out, and maybe it is an authentic follow and not just typing in like Raptors and following a bunch of stuff. I mean, I don't know, maybe it was, but yeah, still following, by the way. As of 8:12 p.m. Western Time, January 1st, 2024, Savannah Hamilton's mom continues to follow me on Twitter. One of the top moments for me for sure. So, the other thing. Quality experience. TBP is over, essentially. Okay, but this is the other thing. I can't believe I forgot about this until you just typed it out. What are Jordan Peterson's initials? JBP. TBP. How close is the T and the J as well? Like, you take out, you add one little thing and you've got, I mean, it's just there's layers to this shit, man. I tell you, there's fucking layers. The accent is enough to get him into the show. But the more you kind of peel back at it, like just imagine his fights with Leahy. Oh my God, it would be so fucking like Leahy in a Bumblebee costume. Oh, with Phil. Oh my God, with Phil. What are you looking at my gut for? Oh, that was a bad Phil Collins. Here, what are you looking at my gut for? Oh, you would hate Phil. I don't like what you're doing here with the Dirty Burger. I think it should be a different type of business, like me and Sam. Would you like Sam? Would you like Sam Losco? Me and Sam Losco. We got the hot dog thing going. I don't know if he would like Sam Losco. Maybe. I feel like if they could have like a harebrained scheme together. They could collab. I think they could collab. I think Sam and him could collab. Would he collab with Cyrus? Maybe. I could see that. Cyrus is like sexy, leather jacket, cool car. Cyrus would, oh man, Cyrus would be, I bet Cyrus would be into the psychology. I bet Julian would too. Like, cause Julian likes to read books. Book smart. I love when he like comes out of jail and he's just like, Freedom 35 through all these books. So that's what the dynamic would be. Ricky wouldn't like him. Ricky would see through it. And Ricky doesn't want a psychology, self-help. He would be like, oh, he's a smart guy. Him and Bubbles wouldn't get along, but Julian would be his way in with the boys. I think that works really well. Fuck, man, this character. I need to contact Mike Clattenburg, the head writer of the show, and get something going with this. Yeah, because Julian, he would tell Julian about like how money is connected to the purity of your soul, and that the government wants to take most of it, and if you're purer, then you will keep more of it, and the way you become pure is to follow these psychological principles, even if you're, because a lot of Jordan Peterson fans are like crypto scammers, NFT people, all across the gamut. You got all these people who love what he says and talks about, doesn't follow any of the kind of actual stuff. I would say the funniest thing about Jordan Peterson though is like he just goes so much at like beauty, like the reason he doesn't like trans people is because they're not hot, kind of thing. And it's just so much about like beauty standards and like women don't look like this anymore. Women should look like this. Women, she's overweight or no one wants to get in bed with her. All that stuff. He's always like spewing off about. Just look at his wife. I could be wrong. I don't know how to say this. I don't think she's ever been paid to model anything, or I don't know if anyone's ever been like, hey, I will pay you to hold up this product in a commercial and people are really gonna buy it. She could be in the show. Michaela would be like Trinity. Oh God, this is good. Yeah, Jordan Peterson and Charlotte Brook Boys. That's all I've been thinking about for like 2 days. Curtis Tanky, unironically, he needs Jesus. Cryptosexual. Yeah, wasn't Jesus like the opposite in a lot of ways too? Like I don't know much. I don't go super deep on most of what I know about Christianity is through Slayer lyrics. So maybe I'm a little bit biased or whatever, but wasn't Jesus like kind of a chill kind of guy, just like roaming around, hanging out, giving people wine and all that? That's a whole other. But another great, oh God, there's so many of these now. Now I'm thinking about it. Another great Jordan Peterson episode for Trailer Park Boys would be the Bible Salesman episode, which is probably, I don't know how I didn't think about this till now, because probably definitely top 5, maybe even a top 3 for me. You got the Rush episode, Who the Fuck's Lil Randy's Barbecue episode, and then probably right around there is The Bible Salesman. I mean, incredible episode. Oh God, that's such a good episode. And he would be the guy who like either found the Bible salesman, told the Bible salesman to specifically come to Sunnyvale, or he would be like the third guy, because there's two of them there. But they do end up scamming the boys. So maybe he's more of an innocent patsy in this situation where he knows this Bible salesman guy, but he doesn't necessarily know that they're going to steal all the dope and go to the strip club and with the van. He would also love Corey and Trevor because anybody to Corey and Trevor is smart. So, I mean, I've met cats and dogs smarter than Corey and Trevor. It's great. There's so many layers to Jesus was the guy who walks in something like Patrick Swayze. Okay. Walks in the bar and fights everyone like Swayze, flipping tables at the bank. Matthew 19:24. It's easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven. It's easier for a camel to pass through the eye of a needle than a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven. That's way too deep for me. Is that the Bible? Who's Matthew? Matthew just sounds like a guy who like owns like a chicken restaurant or something. Matthew, that's your name, and you're like you figured something big out and your name's Matthew. Okay. I like names like Marcus Aurelius. Like, that's a cool name. I don't know anything. I don't know his bag, but like that's a cool name at least. Or like who wrote the Enchiridion? Epictetus. Like, that guy said something smart, but like Matthew. Wow. Okay. Yeah. So anyways, the Toronto Raptors. Nolan Jacobson said, "Oh fuck, yes." He would try to tell Phil Collins how to raise his kids. Another great. So he would hate Phil, obviously, because he's overweight and not sexy. But he would love Jacob. Oh, he would love Jacob. Sexy, thin, and maybe would you guys say Jacob's like more malleable and easier to manipulate and bend than Corey and Trevor? Like, we don't, obviously his usage rate isn't anywhere nearly as high as Corey and Trevor's, but like we did see him featured quite heavily in season 6 with the train going across the river. And he also had a couple of boys with him as well. Would J-Rock and Jordan Peterson have? I don't think they would. I mean, Jordan Peterson would get him into NoFap, try to get him into NoFap during the rap episode. I'm just trying to remember what. If it happened to me, it could happen to you. Peace. I was sitting in my room playing with my junk. Hey, J-Rock, have you considered, not touching your bird there every once in a while, I got some literature that talks about internal orgasms where you can... That's more David Data, I think. Guys, remember David Data, the Way of the Superior Man? That would be one of the books that Jordan Peterson would hand out. Women are chaos and men are order and all that. Like, it's a very cool way to. It's a very good way to take in all the gray matter in between. It's a very fun way very Ayn Randian, fun way to go through life. Fun thing to bring up on a coffee date or a nightclub or something. men are consistent and women are random. So yeah, he would, and then he would use like Lucy and Sarah as examples, because Lucy and Sarah are also kind of like female, not maybe not quite female Ricky and Julian, but like kind of in that realm. Like they're always in on the schemes too, like the salons. But I feel like when Sarah kind of takes, because I used to think way back in the day, because again I got into Trailer Park Boys way too young, like grade 4 probably. But I used to think when she took over Corey and Trevor from Ricky and Julian, that it was like a good thing in a way, like a motherly type of thing. But now, obviously, watching it as an adult, you could see that she's just kind of doing the exact same thing. So he would use them as examples of he would clash with Barb, I think. Oh yeah, I think he would clash with Barb. Because he would think that he would be able to run the park better than Barb, but he doesn't have enough of like he's friends with George Green, but George Green is pretty external from the park. Like George Green only shows up when, I mean, there's a couple of times where he showed up for dumb reasons, but for the most part, it's like shit hits the fan. George Green shows up, but he's not like an integral part of a lot of the plots. Ray more so is. So I do feel like he's more with a kinship and would have more usage rate with Ray. His usage rate with Ray would be great. That's the Scotty Immanuel Quickley backcourt is Ray and Jordan Peterson. It's perfectly normal to eat 9 cans of ravioli. It's perfectly normal to... I just think the boys need to... they're sitting around and smoking dope all day. I think they would benefit from, a little reading, a little reflection. It always turns into Grange. Because Grange does the, like, da-da-da-da-da, like, it's more, Grange is more, like, sing-songy. It's more, like, well, like, you got the da-da-da-da, whereas Peterson's just more, like, grading. It's just trying to get through whatever he's saying. Grange is bouncier. That's what I'm trying to say. The Thompson twins' girlfriends are twins? What? I'm really stoned right now, but who are the Thompson twins? Oh, Asar and... The Thompson twins' girlfriends are twins. Oh, I finally get it. Okay, that's... I don't know. That's just funny. I don't even have a comment on that. That's just kind of funny. I wonder how they met. Interesting. Grange After Dark. Bring Ellen Page back. The Fired Professor. What would be okay? So we talked about like Jordan Peterson slotting into episodes that already exist, and characters that he would bond with, who he'd have good chemistry with, his usage rates and stuff. I don't know if I could come up with this off the top of my head. Maybe I'll think about this for the next episode. But what would be like an episode idea where he could kind of feature, because like Sam Losco, for example, he's not a main character at all, but you've got the election episode. Oh, Jordan Peterson would be great in that episode too. You've got the election episode where he's running for mayor of Sunnyvale, and the boys give him mushrooms, and he just starts talking crazy in front of the cameras, and then Leahy ends up winning, and they've got Leahy in this like football jersey, like one of those like Target, Walmart football jerseys, tucked into khaki pants. It's got fucking but like an episode like that, like that Sam Losco type episode, but more as kind of Jordan Peterson as like the B plot or even the A plot. I think I need to think about that. That's a tough one to cook off the top of my head, but I feel like I've got a good idea of who he would relate with, who he would clash with, how they would become friends. It's good. There's a lot there. I didn't even mean to be talking about this. It's just something I've been thinking about, and it's one of those things where like the more you think about it, the more it just kind of makes sense and works. But anyways, wrapping up, Pascal Siakam 5 for 8 from three. I thought the offense was better with Quickley and Barrett on the floor, and when they went off, I thought there was a dip, and it kind of reminded me of the first 30 games of the season. So that's a really good sign that they're, they're not draft picks. It's not like, oh yeah, I was gonna say they're gonna instantly contribute, like obviously. But yeah, to be honest, I'm kind of fading out. The fireworks last night were tough. I live right next to a park, and so yeah, it's like 3 a.m. It was still fucking. Even tonight, I heard a couple. Thompson twins were in a boy rock band. Have you guys heard the Gordon Hayward rap? It's real, by the way. It's really funny. If you just search YouTube, Gordon Hayward rap, it's great. It's got a line about Steve Nash. It's like, it's exactly how like every bad white rapper sounds too. Like it's so perfect. Like Steve Nash, something like Steve. I gotta listen to that again now. Yeah, something. I thought it was a joke at first, but then no, it's been verified that it is actually him. What is the line? It's something like Steve Nash. I passed. It's like Steve Nash. He could be on Trailer Park Boys too. Gordon Hayward. Him and J-Rock can make a rap album together, and when they get arrested, Gordon, I love that storyline too. When Detroit Velvet Smooth, DVS, he comes in and he's like, we're going to get you arrested. You're going to be on the press shot. And T is just so into it. And then instead of getting arrested, J-Rock hides under the trailer. It's a great show, by the way. I mean, I think it's honestly, like, it's a popular show, but I think it's like a critically underrated show. It's one of those shows that I watched as a kid, literally, and you can really see the layers of it and the levels of it that it hits. I'm talking about the first 7 seasons. I haven't watched past that, and I refuse to because I saw 2 minutes of season 8 and I just can't do it. Even the movies, I just didn't really. Like 20 of our friends in high school went to the movies, one of the movies once, and just got like blackout drunk and smoked in the theater. But that was a long time ago. But yeah, I mean, as you get older, you realize that the writing is incredible. They really kept it like kind of lo-fi in this like authentic, shaky camera way. I mean, it's a mockumentary. I thought season 1's a little bit not quite finding its footing yet, but like 2 and then 7 is, but like 2 to 6 is just like home run. Every episode's a home run. Like maybe the Conky episode that's the only one that when I'm going through I'm like I don't really need to watch. I don't know, I don't need to watch that one. But like every other episode is just fucking banger, man. Okay. So yeah, the Toronto Raptors win 124-121. Cleveland Cavaliers. What's the next game? The next game for the Toronto Raptors is not tomorrow. It is the day after tomorrow against the Grizzlies. 5 p.m. Western time. The Grizzlies. Fuck, I thought I was over. I'm one of those people that to this day, physically, mentally, spiritually, financially, cannot cheer for either of the Grizzlies or the OKC Thunder. It's too painful. It's too much. I can't do it. So hopefully the Raptors get a W on that one. John Morant's back, so the Immanuel Quickley running out of water. What was the thing? Matthew 19:24. A camel can't get into heaven or something. I'll look that up after. Immanuel Quickley versus Ja Morant. So that should be fun. I don't know. Anybody watch the Knick game today? Any comments? I guess I already talked about that. We already talked about that. Okay. I think that's going to do it. Next game is in a couple days. New Raptor Moments episode dropped earlier today. Adam Silver talking about his underwear with Will and Blake. That's not clickbait, by the way. Maybe get Adam Silver on this show. You know, ask him about what would be a good way to approach. Because I thought with the when Adam Silver on the Raptors show, I thought it would have been really funny for them to just like tank the interview and just do like who we play for or the Basketball Reference game, which I missed. I missed that game, by the way. But I thought that would have been a funny idea. What would be a funny idea if Adam Silver came on this show? So I would not want to do a traditional interview. Could do like could do a thing where I ask him about like Cambodia, because he said he was Henry Kissinger, like he comped, like draft comp, like I am Henry Kissinger, like he was like tearing up too, I think, when he was like, I watched, he was one of the great American diplomats, died at the age of 100, and I see myself like him, and he's responsible for the deaths of millions and millions of people and all across the world, in Cambodia and Vietnam and Chile and Argentina and Indonesia, China, Russia, East Timor, Guatemala, Honduras, Bolivia. Yeah. Cool guy to fucking calm yourself to. Great friend of Hillary Clinton, by the way. Her and Kissinger, similar mindset, similar approach to the world. So they're I guess they're not friends anymore. Maybe that'd be a good Trailer Park Boys episode. Hillary Clinton just like keeping Henry Kissinger's dead body in the trailer and like cuddling with it, watching like Black Hawk Down. I don't think, did Kissinger fuck around in... He wasn't as much in like Kuwait and Afghanistan and stuff. He was in his bag in Asia and South America for sure. Operation Condor. He had a high usage rate during Operation Condor. It's sad, man. Like I really liked Cambodia, you know. And he fucked around hard. And, you know, Pol Pot wiped out like 25% of the population, which I think is like a record or something in terms of ratios. But yeah, when I was in Cambodia, like I got off the airplane, and so I was in Siem Reap, which is where Angkor Wat is, like the biggest, I think it's the biggest religious site in the world. It's where Matthew used to hang out and write about camels. But no, the Khmer or the Khmer Empire way back in the day, kind of around the same time as like the Siam Empire. And then obviously, you know, Pol Pot kind of grew up worshiping that. Again, another like 5'1" dude, same as Hitler, same as the same as Mussolini. But like, who's the other guy? Who's the third guy? Short guy, kind of growing up and being like, why isn't this country as strong as it used to be, like in ancient times? So reading about the Khmer, the Khmer Empire from the 12th century, and then being like, oh, we need to do the same thing with the Khmer Rouge. Probably not, though. So anyway, so I land in Cambodia, which it's great. Like the difference between Vietnam, Cambodia, Thailand is like obviously they're different countries, but just the it's like traveling in different time periods. Like Vietnam is definitely catching up like rapidly to, because obviously they went through, I mean, crazy destructive war that they won, by the way. Um, Shouts to John McCain. He wasn't able to get the W there. So yeah, they lost that, and but obviously, you know, even though they won the war, it set the country back. I mean, decades. But they're really catching up, and Thailand is almost. I mean, I was in Thailand for like 10 months, so I saw quite a bit of it. But like, I mean, obviously, there's like very, poor areas, but for the most part, it's pretty like you can. It's like Immanuel Quickley. You can slot him into the starting lineup. Cambodia is very, very far behind. Like even in Siem Reap, which is like the tourist, Mecca or whatever. It's like, you know, the road coming out of the airport's paved, but all the side streets are like this red kind of dirt, and there's like kids like in the very like water that I would not go into, just freely hanging out in there. And it's like, okay, this is the energy has shifted a little bit here. Anyway, so I hired a driver for, did I tell this story already? I don't think I have. Maybe I have. Hired a driver, and that was kind of wild because you can take like tours around it's these crazy like old super like 12th century temples, and they're fucking massive. It's a 400-kilometer square area with all these crazy temples and shit, and you can't like climb up them, but you can climb around a lot of shit. Like you can really kind of go off. So I spent 3 days just kind of going off by myself. And what kind of made it all happen was this driver guy that I hired, and he had spent his whole life, not his whole life, but like his adult life, saving up to become a driver. Like he started out in the rice fields, just dreaming of one day going to like Canada or France or England. But his more like realistic goal was becoming like a driver for tour, or like working in tourism. So like he learned, like his English was like decent, like have a conversation. So he was like learning English. And so he like saved up to buy this like motorbike thing with this little buggy that like carries you. It was pink inside. It's kind of cool. But yeah, he had like really worked for this, and I think his fee was something like $15 a day or something, like for the entire day. And I paid him like more than twice as much as what it ended up costing, and like took him out for breakfast and stuff. Really, really cool guy. But his mom died in the purges, and like he told me like this image has always stayed in my head. Like his dad only ever talks about it when he's drunk with his friends, who I guess were also there. And it's just dark to think about. And when I was there in 2017, and there was just an election, and I noticed this is me being like Anthony Bourdain, I guess. Not really a fan of his. I'm more of a Carl Pilkington guy. They had like a stamp on their thumb, like a lot of people in Cambodia, and I asked him like why are people have all these stamps and stuff, and he said it was something about the election. Like they kept the stamp on as like a protest to the current government, because the current government is still fucky and still authoritarian, rigs elections. And so I think people kept it on as like a protest or something. I think maybe like they even voted for I don't know what it was, but it's something about keeping that stamp regardless of what you voted, I think, was like a sign of protest. So that was kind of interesting to learn. But yeah, it's sad when you meet, the real life people that were really affected by it. And then you've got Adam Silver being like, yeah, I love Henry Kissinger. It's like, you just kind of want to stick your hands to the laptop and like, but that's why you make a video like I did and put Slayer music to quick successions of what Henry Kissinger did after Adam Silver compared himself to him, after Adam Silver also talked about his underwear. So cool. Go check that video out. This is my long-winded way of saying go check that video out. And yes, there's going to be some legal lawyer person like, that's from a different interview. It's like, I know, but I don't care. It worked. I shouldn't give it away. Disbelief, whatever. Silver on this show is gold. Yeah, I don't know what I would Adam Gold. Quality experience watching the Benghazi movie. Yeah, Hillary and met a guy from Libya. By the way, yeah, I met a guy from Libya the other day. Or yesterday. I was playing basketball and this guy rolls up. So I'm playing on like the good hoop, and then there's kind of like a shittier hoop, like the net's kind of fucked up. And this guy shows up, and I got my gymnastics strings set up. I got my like booty bands, my workout bands, all the stuff around the basket, And this guy just like rolls up, and like he puts his bag, he's got a big fucking bag. He puts it down, he takes his shoes out, takes his water bottle out, and I'm like, okay, I guess we have a situation kind of happening here. And like I was really locked in, I got a booty band around my hips, and I'm taking like, catching the ball, one step into the middle, kind of over, kind of a hook shots, just repetition, repping them out. And in my head, I'm like, does he not, like, if I get insecure, I'm like, if I were even more locked in, like I got the gymnastic strings, I got the booty band, I'm doing the same shot over and over again. Like, how locked in do I have to be for him to be like, hey, maybe I should, go to the shittier core with the little dumb kid playing that can't do anything. Sorry if he's watching. I don't think so. I didn't talk to him. Or like there's some other courts around, but so he comes up to me and he's like, hey, do you mind if I shoot here? And I was like, it's not ideal. That's my exact word. And he's like, what do you mean? And I was like, well, I'm like kind of, I said like, I suck and I am training because I want to be good. So I'm kind of locked in. And he's like, oh, I won't get in your way. I was like, okay. So then he starts going out and he's dribbling it. He's bouncing all over the place and he's dribbling it and he's pulling up and he's got a really high release point, shooting from everywhere. And I was kind of like, God damn it. Jack too, took his shirt off. It was a scene. It was quite a scene, to be honest. But then I stepped out to the 3-point line. And this is where everything changes. So, you see me taking these little 1-foot Jakob Hurdle-like shots, which I practice a lot. I practice a lot of post moves, even though I'm 5'9". A lot of post footwork. People aren't expecting it. So maybe he's like, oh, whatever. It's fucking loser here. Then I go to the 3-point line. And I'm already warmed up. I'd already been there for a couple hours. I think I was there for like 4.5, 5 hours total. I think I'd already been there for like 2.5, 3 hours at that point. So I was already warmed up. And I think I hit like 7, maybe not in a row, but like 7 for 8 from 3. And to his credit, he rebounded for me on makes. So respect, like major respect. And I think he kind of maybe clicked of like, oh, okay. He's not Jakob Hurdle. And so I asked him, like, where are you from? And he said, Toronto originally, by way of Libya originally. Now I'm in Vancouver. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Do you like the Raptors? Do you like Scotty? And he said, oh, Pippen? And I said, yeah. But we ended up talking, and he might be watching the show right now because I told him my channel name. So I think his name was Fatih from Libya. So if you're watching, we actually ended up talking for like an hour, like a it's probably the biggest like heart to heart conversation I've had in 10 years with anybody. So bit of a turn of events. Told them about all my hopes and dreams, my insecurities, my failures, and it was a bonding experience. Wished each other Happy New Year, and I went back to the 3-point line. And by that point, I was pretty cooked. By that point, I was doing a lot of gymnastics ring stuff, and with the gymnastics rings, I like to warm up for a few minutes, and then I kind of hit them intermittently throughout shooting. So I don't ever like cook myself on them until the end. Then I try to cook myself on them. So I'd already cooked myself on them, and then I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take some more threes 4.5 hours into this shooting practice thing on New Year's Eve, and then I just, once you get to that point where you're just like, you're cooked, and then the mechanics just go to shit, and it just becomes like, I always wonder with that. I think people have different opinions. Like, is that even productive at that point where you're like not really even shooting how you like normally do because your body is just like fucked? Or is that good and you should just push through it? Interesting. What do people say what does Matthew say? Iconic one, where do you feel most comfortable shooting? Oh God, I love this question. So I was going to say I have 2, but I think I really have 3. I think it's more so above the break threes, like straight, like kind of within. So, on a basket, most baskets will have 7 teeth on the rim. And by the way, fun fact, it's a really good way to practice shooting is like getting locked in with the teeth. Like if you get your hip or your foot, I actually told this to Will recently. I don't know if he used the tip, but I think it's a pretty good tip, I think. Where if you line up your hip or your foot with that tooth in particular, you're aiming now at an even more exact point than just the rim. And those 2 teeth so there's 3 on the right, 1 in the middle, and then 3 on the left on like most rims. So the 2 on the right, like the 2, like not the middle one, but the 2 next to the middle, those 2 perfectly line up with the elbows at the 3-point line. So if your back is to the basket, you can line your hip up with the elbow, like with the free throw line, and you know where exactly the rim is. So you can do your shot prep beforehand, like stuff like that. Where's it going with that? But yeah, so so the 3-point line, like say elbow extended 3-point line, from like deeper, like I have a very low release point. I have like not quite a Halliburton shot, but I have a lower release point, especially from 3 on deeper threes. Closer to the basket, I go up a little bit more. But above the break threes, off the dribble. I don't like catch and shoot. I try to practice it. Like there's a wall there, so I just whip the ball against the wall and practice catch and shoot threes. But it just always feels like weird to me. That's like kind of my kryptonite. I get like kind of like not mixed up, but like debate with myself of like how much of your weaknesses should you practice versus what you're like already good at, and like how much of your strengths should you double down from. Growing up, I always had the ball in my hands on my teams. I was the point guard, and so I wasn't really able to shoot all that much with a lot of my coaches. That's another story because there's a different era with guards, but I was never really in catch and shoot positions growing. Like I just never played that way. If I was taking a shot, it's because I was creating it. And so catch and shoot for me is kind of awkward. A lot of the times I'll practice coming off a screen. That for some reason is easier for me. Like shooting one-legged threes, practicing coming off a screen is easier for me than a catch and shoot 3. Like it's really weird. Like whipping the ball to yourself, like kind of that spin, and then running at it sideways like you would coming off a screen and then squaring up and shooting. If I do that or do like a step back or go off one leg, it just feels more natural to me than a standstill catch and shoot three. I hate free throws as well. Fuck, that's my kryptonite is fucking free throws, because it's like you're standing still. It's not. I'm not used to it. So the last couple of years, I've like redone my free throw method, and it looks fucking ridiculous. Like it looks so stupid, but it works for me. Where I'm basically like walking and dribbling and then shoot. Like I don't know if any NBA player does it, and that kind of makes me insecure of like maybe I shouldn't do it, but it will work for me. Like I can just kind of I can just kind of zone out and it works. I can't really explain it, but it's not sexy to look at. It's not sexy. But yeah, so above the break threes, I really like. So the two main ones are above the break threes and then like 15 feet on the right baseline. Don't know why. Don't know how. I think during the early pandemic, the court that I used to play at had a wall right behind that part. So it was so good for practicing like whipping a pass off of it. Not that you would ever get a pass from that angle, so that is kind of dumb, I guess, in retrospect. But I just got really comfortable with that shot. So I really like that kind of 15-foot. And I kind of like it schematically too, because if you are the lead point guard, it's a really good place to cut to. And people aren't really expecting that. So if you're like the lead point guard, you bring the ball up, you may pass it to the 2 or the 3, you relocate to that right baseline. You're not clogging the paint. Like you're 15, 16, even 17 feet out. You're not getting in the way of people's drives because you're way over on the baseline. And I don't really think people are like expecting it. So I think you could catch a lot of people off guard doing that. And I just like that spot. The left side for me, it just doesn't work as well on the baseline. Like it doesn't line up properly somehow. Like it's just awkward. I think everybody has those awkward places. Funny enough, right elbow is awkward for me too. So right elbow and left baseline is like fuck, but left elbow, right baseline is beautiful. So I don't know why that doesn't make any sense, but it's just a feel thing. Probably should work on it more. So if I play one-on-one, if I go right, I'm going to try to get to that baseline. If I go left, I'm going to try to bump off the elbow or lower on the block if I can get there. So, or if you leave me, I'll probably just take the 3 because I love that above the break 3, just like Trae Young release point, not aesthetically pleasing. That was a long answer. Apologies for that. He did say Pippen, by the way. Iconic says, I tend to shoot very high on quick catch and shoot shots from 3 and muff it, trying to fix that. More of a cut or shoot off the dribble mid-type player. Shoot very high on quick catch and shoot 3s. I think, so like one of the reasons why my release point is lower is it feels more comfortable. It feels more natural. And I shoot more with my wrist. So I'm kind of a freak because I'm 5'8.5", but I can palm an NBA ball. And I have size, depending on my shoes, 12 or 13 feet, or 12 or 13 size feet. So shooting off of 1 foot is like really easy for me. And then because I have like the mitts, does that really play on? That doesn't. My hands look small as shit on this, but I have a ball here. I have a regulation NBA size. No, I don't. Oh wait, I do. One sec. So it's not like, I don't know if I could do like a Michael Jordan type dunk, but like I can at least, and I think for 5'8.5", like that's this is really slippery too. Not to make excuses, but I can big Michael Jordan wind up. That's your 29 or whatever it is size ball or whatever. So that's my kind of hidden superpower. So watch out, but I'm short as shit, so you can probably block it. Um, and then I played higher level soccer than I did basketball. So one of the really good crossovers. I also this is very kind of self-flatulating, but played baseball for 15 years too. And this is a trippy one actually. I think someone will like. I think you'll like this. So when I was growing up, like I couldn't like floaters like weren't really a thing. Runners, floaters, all that stuff was like sacrilege to most coaches. That's like doing a behind the back 360, like just and so when I started integrating floaters a few years ago, I was kind of coming at it from a basketball kind of like almost trying to do like a one-handed shot with like a tricep extension. It just like wasn't working for me. It just didn't feel right. And then with baseball, I played baseball for 15 years. I'm starting to realize, and with like my hand size, I can throw this thing like a baseball on like hook shots, and they go in like I can get into a rhythm. That's what I do with the booty bands, and I like can throw it over my shoulder like a baseball. Like and I just discovered that like maybe 6 months ago. So I'm fucking psyched about that. It's one of my favorite things to. That's what I was practicing when the guy rolled up, and I'm like, isn't this kind of sick? Like, are you really gonna invade? Maybe that's why he wanted to. He'd asked me to play 1-on-1, but my ankles are still kind of cooked for that. I probably could. Like, I got my plantar fasciitis socks on right now. You guys want to see these? Did that show up? Webcam's a little high for that. Maybe I could get it here. Let's see. Fuck. No, not quite. Can't quite kick that high. But yeah, playing soccer growing up, it gives you way more that one-legged balance too. So kind of that combo of baseball, soccer. It's like I'm going off of one leg, kind of like I'm kicking, but then I'm more, because I don't know, what do you guys think with floaters? Like when I try to do like a push shot, or it just doesn't, I find I can do it straight, but I find I either front rim or airball it, or it just like fucking hits off the backboard. More likely airball or front rim. But for some reason with the baseball, like I get the right arc on it, and it feels like just throwing a baseball into the hoop. And actually, during the pandemic shutdowns, I would shoot with a lacrosse ball because they put ties over the rim. So I would just come with the lacrosse ball and do touch with that. So did I say self-flatulence? I didn't think I didn't, you know what I mean? Self-flagellation. That's what I said, self-flagellation. Is that even a word? It's still effective. The sky hook. Yeah, it's not quite a sky hook. I feel like Jokic kind of does them a little bit. It's probably one of those things that like doesn't look great when it doesn't go in. Like it's one of those things where it's kind of like a baseline runner. For some reason, I do better on the baseline runners than I do like the straight on runners. But those look ridiculous when they airball. It's just like, it's like Precious the Jewish. It's like, what the fuck was that? Because on the baseline runners, like there's no backboard to bail you out. So if you airball that thing, it's like, it just looks tough. But it's another one of those things where if I just get out of that mindset and I just kind of like relax is a big thing, and just kind of off the dribble, do that kind of baseball throw, like I can get a bunch of them in a row and get into a groove. And I'm telling you folks, I'm going to show up one day to some shitty gym that's half indoors, half outdoors, with rain blowing into it and the rim falling apart with 18 people in the audience in a country in South America that I've been scoping out. And you will see me on the court one day, if I can ever get my fucking ankles right. See me with try to get the goggles. Like I joke about the 905 tryouts. That's not happening. I mean, some of these leagues in like South America, for example, the games are on YouTube. You can watch the whole thing. I've done scouting reports on all the all the teams. I know all the point guards. I know the 3-point shooting percentages. I know I not many of them over 33% 3-point shooters, and league average has got to be around like 30. Like it's tough. So yeah, there's a specific team that's like the Pistons. Like you just that's literally what I want to do. It's just like show up to the Detroit Pistons of, countries in South America that aren't really into basketball, and just try to get a tryout. I found a bunch of the agents on Twitter that represent the players, and a lot of the players in these places are like D4 players. Like they played like D4 college. And when I was a teenager, like I played against guys who went at least D2, maybe D1. Not that I got there, but I played against people that went there. So that's how I've rationalized in my brain that maybe you could show up and have 18 people watch you play and get paid $400 a month to play in this league with guys who are 36 years old and played a year of D4 12 years ago. It's what I dream, I dream big. I dream really big. But I'm just rambling now. We hit 2 hours again. I guess I did. Hey, I had a nap. The post fireworks thing, the nap. How many people are still watching this? 31 people are watching this. That's crazy. That's way too many. Yeah, it's funny. Like when I talk, like, so I think the structure of this, I tend to talk about the game itself for like the first 35, 40 minutes. And then it's just fucking Jordan Peterson, Trailer Park Boys, Cambodia, hook shots, like whatever. And there's a drop off for sure, but it's actually not as like significant as you would maybe think. Not that I really I don't make decisions based on that. Obviously, if I did, I would just spend 2 hours talking about the game itself. But it is funny that more people than I would have expected, concurrent viewers, are still watching for some reason. I probably should put this out into a podcast. I thought about that too. I have an RSS feed. I just don't have my shit together, but putting this out as an audio podcast. Vegan Grass, there were 100 people here at the start. Were there 100 people here? Jesus. Usually there's like 70, I feel like, when I start. So 100's pretty good. But I mean, 2 hours and 12 minutes in, still have some people, for some reason. Handsome says the afters are the best part. Thank you. We love the show. Thank you. Love your takes and rambles. Thank you. Yeah, it's good. I used to just talk to myself walking down the street, so it's good. I should get the Raptor Moments pod back going again. Like, had some good guests on there, but I don't know, just the whole scheduling people and then the technology part of it. And I was doing more like Nardwar style interviews, like with Will and Alex, but then it's like, that was more natural because I'm just really interested in them as like content creators. So I've naturally listened to a bunch of their stuff. So it's not like I had to research a bunch of it. So I don't want that to be like the genre, because I just don't have the mental energy to like go deep dive on a bunch of like Michael Grange or something. I don't want to go and listen to a Michael Grange banter pod about like eating pizza in Utah or something. Maybe it would be good. I got a couple, they got a couple pizza places out there out in, Salt Lake. And, you got there, you got a couple slices going, and you spill a little bit on your suit jacket, and now you're looking at a dry cleaner there in Utah. So, friend of the friend of the show, Michael Grange, dude, checking in. That's if it's audio only. People might think it's actually Michael Grange. I think I'm gonna go shoot tomorrow morning. Today was kind of a rest day. Got the plantar fasciitis socks on, some ice, and I think I'm gonna get up early and go fucking shoot some shit, you know. Vegan Grass, get Scotty on the pod. We believe in you. I did get his his Twitch Connect from somebody. So, and he has watched 3 Raptor Moments videos. That, like, on camera, he has typed in to YouTube the words Raptor Moments. It's kind of crazy, but that has happened. And I do have somewhat of a contact information with the person who does his like Twitch and stuff. So, I mean, I would not, if FanDuel was putting out a line, I don't know if I would encourage people to bet on it, but I don't know. It honestly is like really weird thinking about that though. Like when I first started this, and by the way, if you're only watching this and you haven't watched any of the Raptor Moments episodes, they're much better than this. You know, this is just a live thing, but not that they're like, you know, groundbreaking or anything, but they're just sport. Anyways, yeah, like when I first started, the whole idea. Should I tell the behind the baseball story about this? So my thing has never been to get a job with Sportsnet and TSN. Like that's pretty much a joke. Like maybe when I first started, like 2021, long time ago, you know, video, like an editor maybe. I never applied for any on-air talent jobs or on-camera stuff. Like I've never applied or tried or anything. I don't even know how I would like function really in that environment. Like it would just be kind of strange to me. But like on the other hand though, it like would be easier to get people like Scotty, but then you kind of I think you have to kind of follow, like if you're working for one of those companies, like you can't just get like Adam Silver on and be like who we play for. So it's like you can get the guess, but I do think there is a bit of like, you know, pre-planning. Like I'm going to ask you about your summer vacation, what books you read, who you're friends with, and, you know, your favorite, you know, going to do a Chat GPT rap lyric or something. Like I think a lot of that gets like pre-planned out or like pre-screened or something. So, but yeah, the joke behind all that, like I, you know, I'm more looking to get in as like a dishwasher at Sportsnet Grill. And then I want to see if my YouTube shorts that I make as a dishwasher at the Sportsnet Grill get more views than the YouTube shorts on Sportsnet YouTube's channel. Because I think it's possible. You know, you got the clanking sound effects of the forks and spoons. You've got the great dishwasher noises. You've got a lot of kitchen drama. I used to be a dish pit guy. There's always going to be kitchen drama. People are always going to be screaming at each other. Like those could be better shorts than, apologies if they're watching this, but whoever cuts up the Sportsnet shorts that may be hovering around 700 views on 800,000 subscribers. So just get me into the Sportsnet Grill. That's been more my thing. Oh yeah, Yahoo Sports Canada. Forgot about this. Perfect segue. So do you guys remember Yahoo Sports Canada, November 30th? They didn't announce it. So Yahoo Sports Canada hosts Chris Boucher's podcast, CJ Mile and Amit Mann's podcast. They used to employ like Will, Alex, Vivek, like all these kind of, Blake Murphy over there? I don't know. Enemy of the program, Blake Murphy, was he over there? But like they had a huge like all-star roster of people, and even up to recently, like they're always putting stuff out and making content and have Raptor shows and sports shows and stuff. And then all of a sudden, like news came out, and it wasn't even news. There was no press release. Still to this day, there's no. If you go on the Yahoo Sports Canada Twitter, the last post is just like, "Hey, Dion Phaneuf scored for the Calgary Flames," or whoever's on the fucking Calgary Flames, some Russian guy. And there's no like, "Hey, it's been great. Thank you for following Yahoo Sports." It just ended, and the way the news broke was just Amit like putting out a text, like a screenshot of a notes app thing or whatever. Like it was just like over. It's kind of wild, and I hadn't thought about that in a while. And then today, just being in my tired, kind of lacking sleep stage, I was like, what's going on with Yahoo? Like, what is Yahoo? I know it's an email provider. I know they fucked up not buying Google for $1 million back in the day, which biggest bag fumble of all time. Like people talk about Dennis Schroeder fumbling the $84 million bag. Being able to buy Google for $1 million and what it's valued at right now. So Yahoo, I don't know if people know this. Yahoo had the opportunity. They backed out of a deal to buy Google, who literally owns Google, YouTube. Their market cap is 1.7 trillion with a T, trillion. That is fumbling the bag. Now, of course, if fucking Yahoo is managing this shit, then maybe it doesn't get to 1.75 trillion with a T. But I mean, the magnitude of that blows what Dennis Schroeder did with the Lakers like out of the water to like a whole other galaxy. Biggest bag fumble. Like most people would probably say that's the biggest bag fumble in like business history, probably. And Google was already like pretty legit at the time. Like this was like not, I don't know. Anyways, wild. So they fucked up with that, but I don't really know what they do now. But Yahoo is not a stock anymore. It's not publicly traded. Verizon owns 10% of it, but then this company called Apollo Global Asset Management, based out of New York, calls itself a boutique, but okay. It's valued at $53 billion, billion with a B, USD. Not quite 1.75 trillion, but 53 billion asset management, decent sized company. I mean, they just killed off Yahoo Sports. Like just woke up one day, boom, gone, see you later. No explanation, tons of people fired, gone. I'm telling you, Sportsnet and TSN are the least profitable areas of Rogers and Bell's business by a mile. They get killed on margin. Absolutely killed on margin. And they always got hurt. So what I mean by that is Rogers and Bell they both have three arms of their business: internet, phone, media. Those are the three things. They're built like kind of the same way. So, internet, phone, pretty self-explanatory. Media is Rogers or Sportsnet and TSN. So Sportsnet owned by Rogers, TSN owned by Bell. Bell's a little bit bigger, but essentially pretty close. Pretty comparable companies. So, like, I don't know off the top of my head what Bell has, but Rogers I know has $4.9 billion in liquidity. So, like, they have cash. Like, they have cash flow. They can afford to do things. But the way these guys and it's mostly guys, let's be honest. The way these guys operate is, how far deep do I go into this? So for example, when there's mass layoffs which happens a lot at Bell and Rogers and Sportsnet TSN, it's like always the media arm that gets the massive layoffs. It's never like, oh yeah, we're firing a bunch of our engineers or a bunch of the internet part of our business. It's always like, yeah, we fired like 1,200 people who have like radio shows or something. And a huge reason that this is happening is because of cable cutting, satellite radio, the internet. Ever heard of the internet? Ironically, probably the most profitable, or probably I think cell phone. Cell phone and internet. They're like right there. So it's almost like this is a ballpark, but I think I did the math, and it's like a ballpark where it's like you're getting like 70% margin on phones, 60% margin on internet, and then it's like 13% margin on media. Like that's how bad it is. Like they're getting killed. Those aren't exact numbers, don't sue me, but it's around. It's like it's that magnitude of them getting slaughtered on margin, and they kind of always did, but it wasn't that bad when people had cable packages. That was the huge revenue driver for justifying having these media companies. And now that cable cutting is like continues to just be like off the charts, year by year, it's going to get harder and harder to justify to investors to keep these things afloat that are performing so much worse than the other profitable parts of their business. It just kind of makes sense. And the thing with, like, think about how much extrinsic value Will and Alex's show has. Extrinsic value. So value that isn't going to show up on the balance sheet, but it's, you know, people really like them. They like the brand. They like, it's all these things that you can't really measure, but these people don't, like the whales and the sharks. They don't really, like, some of them do, you know, you got fucking WeWork, you know, raising $1 billion. So it's not like that black and white, but in general, these people, and especially probably investors into a telecoms company, is going to like intrinsic value, cable packages, hard money. And this is not like groundbreaking, whatever. This is, you know, I used to work in media. I used to work in stocks. Like I kind of know how a lot of the shit works behind the scenes. Another reason why I'm probably never getting in at TSN and Sportsnet is because I know, like, that's why I applied for like dishwasher positions, not content positions, because I don't want them owning my content, because I don't know if they're going to be around. Look at Yahoo Sports Canada. You got a company sitting on a $52 billion valuation, and they don't scale back. Yahoo Sports Canada, they don't fire a few people, change a few things up. It's just gone. Like, it's just gone. Everything that you built, if you work there, like, you don't own any of that. You can't, like, and like, I sold my blog when I was 27. I sold 63% of it, retained 37% of it. It's a good deal, but you learn a lot from that by handing over your IP to somebody who then controls it and then says, hey, can you not write about this company? Can you write about that company? Because my friend is invested in that company. You made them sound bad. You need to change that because we own 63% of you. This is what happens with TSN and Sportsnet. It happens with any big corporate entity owning your creative product. And shouts to the guy on Twitter who said TSN and Sportsnet didn't hire me because I'm an idiot. A, it's because I didn't apply for these jobs. And B, it's because I don't want them. And it's not so much having somebody else own it. I wouldn't necessarily be against like getting an investor or two and giving away equity in that sense. There'd obviously have to be an understanding, creative control. I wouldn't give 63% of it away again like I did before. I had no real leverage in that. I guess I did, but, you know, 27-year-old with a shitty little WordPress site, you know, going up against negotiations with people who are worth, you know, $150, $200 million. I did actually pretty well in that, but learning experience. There's a cost to getting. There's a down. So it's like, what's the upside? Hey, you get access to players. You want to get interview OG Anunoby. Yeah, there's some legwork, but much easier to do if you've got a fucking show on Sportsnet. Oh, you want to, you know, broadcast from a nice studio. Great. But in everything in life, everything, there's a positive, and this is my Jordan Peterson. There's positive and negative. So the negative to that is you don't actually own any of that. Like, not any of it. Not even, you don't even own, this is the crazy part. Like, if you have a show, like, you don't own 0.0001% of it. You don't own any of it. And if they fire you, or you go under, or they go under, or you quit, now you've got this big fucking negative that, you know, debatable might outweigh the positive. So I'm very aware of how these how these media companies work behind the scenes, and I mean, I don't want to say I would never go there, but it would have to be something like separate, like a separate thing that I went in knowing that they owned, and there would have to be some, like, I would be able to promote my, my private thing or whatever. There would have to be some understanding of that. But I wouldn't ever just like go there and be like, okay, I want TSN to like own all of this, Not that they would, I don't think, to be clear, but yeah, Yahoo Sports Canada. It's kind of a cautionary tale. It's like, content, quote unquote content, is not really at a point yet like where it's valued that much. It's harder to rationalize and to justify, especially with people who, a lot of these investors, these whales and sharks, did not grow up with the internet. This is all new to them. They're going like, oh my God, what the fuck's going on? Like, dude, I used to have coffee with people worth $100 million, and I'd be telling them about the Facebook pixel. Like, does Facebook even still have pixels? This is like 2017. Like, the embed code you can get, and you can put that on your website, like in the header tags, and it can give you readouts. And there's things like Hotjar, obviously, but it can give you like user behavior from Facebook on your site, like, talking to Facebook from your site. And they'd be like, oh my God. Like, oh my God. Like, just people who are worth shitloads of money because of mining deals and technology deals. Oh, yeah, we're buying this coffee pod company that's worth $14,000, but we're going to raise $20 million because we hired a really sexy branding expert and graphic designer, and they put together this really nice PDF. It's honestly how it works. I'm not even kidding. I almost got $5 million for a psychedelics company. That's a crazy story. Like, I would be the CEO of a psychedelics company worth like $5 million on paper. I was in that position before COVID. That's why I'm like that. Partly why I'm like this. I saw how the sausage is made. I went to the other side. Kind of by accident. I had a shitty WordPress website, got connected with kind of powerful-ish people. They thought it was, unlike Doug Smith, I put my articles through Grammarly. I usually get pretty high scores on them. Been published in Vice before, decent writer. And I was just like in that position. And this was December 2019. Living downtown Vancouver, living the dream. I was at Equinox. Going into the fucking steam room into sauna. No, steam room into cold shower, into sauna, into cold shower, into steam room, into cold shower, into sauna, into cold shower, into steam room, into cold shower, into sauna. They had all the Kiehl's body soaps and shit. Crazy shit. Suicidal, by the way, too, back then. Pre-therapy. But yeah, I saw how the sausage is made. And so I laugh a little bit, I think, with how the world or how the economy at least, or that part of the economy functions, and how I know firsthand how detached. I bought this shirt during this period. This is actually an expensive shirt. I don't really like it that much, but I bought it during that time. So I was like, whatever. Where am I going with that? But yeah, I know you see like how it's actually made, and these like old, pretty much all, not gonna lie, 85% old rich white guys. That's not even like racial profiling. Go to any of these investor events. Go to like any investor event in Canada that's advertising like gold, cobalt, even like crypto, weed. It's gonna be old white dudes. And if you're like 45, you're like, look at this young whippersnapper, he's 45. I was 27. So they were like, oh my God, a Facebook pixel? It's before, and you can run Instagram ads via Facebook? and you can measure them against each other through A/B testing. Like, it's just, I'm like, yeah. I mean, I guess I get it. You're like in your 60s. You're already worth $100 million. Like, you just put your feet up. You got a yacht, 9 cars, 5 ex-wives, one of them. Jesus. I worked at a firm. So there's like 6 dudes. And the 6 dudes all have their own dudes outside that are outside dudes. And the outside dudes get brought in for the deals. There's always deals. It's like 12 deals a year. Where's the deal? What's the next deal? I got this new deal. I got this new deal. Oh, we're working on this deal. I got this new deal coming. Oh, what's going on with that deal that you had? You guys, whatever happened with that deal, the Cobalt deal? We flipped that into a coffee deal. Go to that for 2 years and tell me that capitalism rocks. You know? This is the hero's journey. I mean, I guess kind of. I never liked Jordan Peterson, but I got into like Jordan Peterson adjacent stuff, I'd say, ish, a little bit back then. 2018, weird time. I don't like that. I don't like that era. That was a bad era. Suicidal and just a mess. Just an absolute mess. Reading like David Data type shit. Traveling around, running from my problems, you know. Buying this shirt. Going to Toronto for a business conference. The only time I've ever seen Toronto is for a fucking business conference. Where I got dragged to the brass rail. Which, I mean, I didn't behave myself in Colombia, but the brass rail is just fucking lame. Like, strip clubs are so lame. North American strip clubs. And I guess strip clubs down there too. I didn't even go to a strip club in South America either, but I didn't necessarily behave myself. But the whole going to a club it's just like weird. I think I've been like 3 or 4 times. Brass rail. Was that like Kawhi's favorite spot? It is different because I think I've been to like 2 or 3 in Vancouver, maybe 4, and then that one brass rail in Toronto. But it was different. Like the strippers like tried to talk to you in the Toronto one. They're like, okay, by the way, preface this. The only reason I'm going there is literally deals. This is where this is rich people. This is where the deals happen. You go to a business. So, okay, this is how it works. You go to a business conference. You have a website that sells ad spaces to publicly traded companies. So you go, not even really ad space either. I was better. I was better than selling ad space. I was doing shit like, these 3 companies are fucking up their operations. But then at the bottom, it's like, oh, but look at this company. It's the best of all 3, but they're not fucking up their operations. Here's their investor deck. This was paid by the subject to all that shit. Did all that shit. And so you go to a business conference, and it's like, this is where you get clients, this is where you meet people, but that's wrong. Nothing happens at the business conference. So this was at the wherever the CN Tower is, like the bottom of that building across from the Peter Mansbridge CBC thing. And everybody's got their booths. There's booths and there's speakers and little stages. And this guy's selling some Twitch. Twitch was really big. This was 2019. So everybody was talking about esports, all these esports stocks, and VR was really big. And cannabis, obviously, that was my niche. Psychedelics hadn't quite taken off yet. This was start of 2019. So you go to the business conference. Everybody's got the suit on, the name tag and the lanyards, but it's all bullshit. Like, it's all bullshit. It's just, oh hey, you're doing this thing, cool, and that's an interesting company, and then you're just talking. People are talking to their friends there, but like nothing's happening. Like, there's people talking on the stage, but like nothing's happening. It all happens afterwards. So the after party. So I'm like, I hate after parties. I I still don't drink. 11 years of no drinking, but I was like 8 years of no drinking at this point, or 7 years, 6 or 7 years no drinking at this point. So I dragged myself to the after. Have I told this story before? I dragged myself to the after party, which was at Pravda Vodka Bar. I think it's not there anymore, but there was a big statue of Stalin, or no, Lenin in the lobby. Anyways, so there's lots of like, but that's where all like the business shit happens. Like that's where you go off and there's people drinking and they're at a table and it's just like, dude, we gotta get this deal done. Like who can we bring in? Like, can we bring in this guy? Bring in that guy. That guy's got, I think that guy's looking for something. I showed him our slide deck last week, and he liked it, but like he wanted this changed, and we think we can bring in some guy from China, and he has some connection in manufacturing, so we can bring that in. Like that's where all that shit starts happening. And I'm like kind of an alien in this environment. I'm like, it's crazy that I'm in Toronto. Like I've never been there before in my life. I'm kind of like going out of my way. I was going to South America at the time, so I was like, I'll go to Toronto for 3 days, do this business conference. Anyways, these two guys that I really wanted as clients. One was a weed company, and one was a Twitch esports kind of thing, but they were more power generation. Like they were creating so that streams could, whatever, work better or something. Some streaming power, whatever. And then your traditional cannabis company. So I'm like, okay, there's two guys here that I really want as clients, and they're really good friends with this guy that I used to work for, and we're all kind of talking at this bar, and they all want to go to the Brass Rail. And I'm like, it's probably like 11:30, like the last thing. I have a flight at like 6 a.m. It's like in my head, I'm like, can we just do whatever deal happens with this, can we just do it here at I fucking drag myself to the vodka bar. But so get into the Uber, go down to the Brass Rail, and I think I don't know if it was a weekday, but like we were like the only ones in there. There's like four or five of us. It's just so awkward, and I don't drink, so I'm like, can I get a soda water? And they're like, okay. And I'm just turning away strippers. I'm just like, oh, how long are you in town for? I'm in college. Like literally gave me the I'm in college cliche routine. But at least they try to talk to you. Like the Vancouver ones I went to a couple of times, they didn't even try to talk to you. They're just like, and then, but this one, they actually like sit next to you. They have a conversation with you. And I just kept telling them like, you see these guys that I'm with, like these 4 or 5 guys, they're worth way more money than me. They would love to talk to you. I did that to like 10 strippers, and I haven't bought a drink yet. Finally, I gave in. The 11th one said something very funny. She just opened with it. She just came out and no conversation, just opened with it. I was so exhausted. I'm like, okay, fine. I don't know. No deals happened. Nothing happened. I had a nice view for, I don't know, 30 seconds, I guess. I don't know why those things are so popular with like Kawhi and James Harden and stuff. I mean, I guess they have different, are there different rules? I don't know. But I was like, okay, I mean, great. And then I left, and then I got an Uber at like midnight, whatever, put my headphones in, had a DJ Tennis remix on there, going through Toronto at night. And then I had a flight to South America, like 6 a.m. the next day. Minus 35, coldest it had ever been in Toronto in the last like 10 years. The airport was like shut. Jordan B. Peterson Airport was like shut down. Union Station was like shut down. Like the train wasn't going. The tracks. I remember this. That they said the tracks were too cold for the trains to go. In Toronto, the tracks were too cold for the trains to go. So I'm in Union Station at Balzac's Coffee, the GOAT. Balzac's Coffee, Balzac's Coffee for like 6 hours at Union Station. Finally, I hear there's some like bus And the flight's delayed like 6 hours. So it's not like, oh, I have to get to the airport. Like the flight, everything's fucked. The ground's like too frozen for the plane to take off or something. So end up taking a bus from outside of Union Station, take the bus to the airport, and then like my flight was like earlier in the morning, but I don't think I left until like 6 p.m. Like it was just nuts. It was insane. Short flight though, Toronto to South America is like 5.5 hours. It's like, damn, it's like 13 hours from Vancouver. So, oh my God, can we hit 3 hours on this? I don't even know how many people. There's like 2 people left. 28. So I've only lost 3 people in the last half hour. That's incredible. So yeah, that's my Toronto experience. Brass Rail as well. Kind of not a sponsor of the show. It was a little bit like I guess I was expecting it to be a little bit nicer. Not that I really not that would have made it more enjoyable, but I remember like Kawhi had always been rumored to go there and stuff. It was a little bit like it wasn't super classy or anything. Like I think I was in there for a total of 45 minutes. Like I didn't end up playing the game. Like I think more of the deals happen around like 3 a.m. after other things get introduced. I think that's more of the sweet spot. But I don't have. I mean, it's 10 o'clock my time and I'm already fading. I don't have that in me, I don't think. And so I was only there for like 45 minutes and just could not wait to get out of there. Oh my God. It's just, I don't think those two things mix, like sex and a nightclub. Like on their own, great. But like together, it's just, it's like a weird combination. And I don't know why that's such a thing. It's just like, there's like other things you could mix together. Like basketball on X, the Twitter account, that could just be a guy doing MDMA and playing hoops. Like there's other things you could do. Wow, I'm on some Matthew Camel shit right now. Matthew 19:24. No camels are allowed in heaven. The Toronto Raptors won. Sorry everybody. The Toronto Raptors won 124-121 to the Cleveland Cavaliers, and I'm exhausted. Any last words? I think that's it. Just lost 2 more people. Just lost 2 more. Everybody go away. Should I just wait? What if I just waited for everybody to leave and see how long that took for every single? There's 20. There's 31. Why did people come back? Where did you go and then come back? Tell me where you went. There's 3 people that just left and came back. I'm trying to, I want to maybe do this thing where I just wait until the last person is left. Like a game of fucking chicken. How many people are? Okay, 30. We lost 1. Okay, 1 down. 30 more to go. Let's go. Get out of here. Go away. Go do something productive. What is it? 1 a.m. Eastern time? You got shit to do tomorrow. You got a life. You got a job. There's groceries to be bought, laundry to be folded, water bottles to be refilled, Michael Grange's banter podcast to be listened to. What are we at now? 30. Damn it. This isn't working. I'm trying to get vegan grasses. You're going. Oh, yeah. I thought you said I'm never going to. No, I'm trying to get to 0. There's nothing. What's going on in the background? Could I zoom in on the background live? I don't think so. Wait. Oh, okay. That looks weird. Whoa. Okay. Okay. Is that entertaining? Like, what if I just didn't say anything and just did this? Well, that's cool. That's a cool one. Oh, that's like a chimney. I like I like the chimney, the new chimney thing there. It's my house actually. How can I not zoom in on this? I should be able to. Fucking. How long would it take for people to bail if I stopped talking and just did this? Are we at 20? What are we at? 28. 28. Two more left. 28. 28 more. 28 down to go. 28. 28 people. Are you guys all from Canada? No, I don't want to engage. Don't engage. Don't tell me where you're from. Don't tell me where you're watching from. Don't engage. Just go to everybody. Like Jordan Peterson, make your bed. Go to bed. 32. Are people just finding this? Please. The first, or I guess people could be watching from earlier on too. Fuck, that probably doesn't show. When I don't think it. Yeah, I think if somebody's like an hour behind, they're still not going to catch up. Damn it. It's not necessarily 32 people watching live. It's 32 people. 33. Is someone putting this on Twitter and telling people to go? Why are new people showing up at 1 a.m? Why are there more people? I just want to go to bed, but I also think this is kind of a funny bit. No, it's not funny. It's annoying. And please, please consider, what's your nighttime routine? Do you, when I nap, I turn my pillow vertically and I put a blanket underneath it. But when I sleep normally, I just sleep with one pillow, like horizontal. Please be lower than 30. 32. Damn it. Pale Fox, I spent a lot of time in Vancouver. It's only 10 p.m. I'm telling you, the fireworks fucked me up last night. And this is normally when I go to bed. I'm training to be a basketball player on the worst team in the world. Like literally want to find the worst team in the world and try out for it. So get up at like 5:30, 6, take some weed oil, black coffee, listen to Burzum. Look outside. I have a really nice mountain view. Listen to Burzum. It's black and dark out. And the atmospheric stuff, though. And yes, I know he's like the worst person in the world. He is legitimately a Nazi. He's killed people before. He's burned down churches. But his music has a certain feel, okay? It's got a certain, he does a certain thing that no one else does. No one else has ever gotten that sound before. And to be fair, I started listening to his music when I was like 14 and I didn't know anything about him. Just my friends were really into black metal and it just sounded different. It had a different sound. And so, yes, I know he's a horrible person, but should I torture myself? The thing with him, the thing with like Varg that I don't get. So Burzum's a band, but it's one guy and he does everything. The drums, the guitar, the synths, the vocals, like does the whole thing. I don't think he's ever played a live show. But like Burzum is from Lord of the Rings. Like that's one of the words on the Ring of Power. That's like the black tongue or whatever. The black tongue magic of Mordor or something. What's it actually called? But it's one of the things like it's like Aj Naj Burzum. So that's the band name. But he records in like really good studios, but with dog shit equipment. So it sounds like shit, but it also sounds good. It's lo-fi, but it's piercing. It's like rough, but it cuts really hard through the mix. And yeah, when I grew up listening to it, I didn't know like anything about the guy. I don't think I even knew it was like one band. Like I don't think I even knew it was one guy. This was 2003 or 4. It took I don't know if people know this. In 2003 or 4, my home computer anyway, 45 minutes to check an email. So I wasn't looking up like, hey, who did Varg Vikernes kill and is he a Nazi? It's just like, oh, this music's really good. Guess I'm a bit guilty when I listen to it now, but That's what I listen to in the morning, and it's very atmospheric, especially Dunkelheit, that song, which is darkness in German. But I guess, yeah. The thing I don't get about him though is like he's all about like evil. He's all about like he makes music that is hypnotic enough where he wants you to go into a trance so that you're quote unquote open to the magic. But there's no political messages in any of the music. At least I don't think there is. And even the song Dunkelheit, which is German for darkness, it's just, she cloaks the world in impenetrable darkness. Suddenly, life has new meaning. Like, there's nothing inherently, like, weird about it. But if he's all, like, Lord of the Rings, but he's also really into forests and nature. But he burns down church. He burned down a bunch of churches in Norway in like the 80s and 90s, and then killed another band guy, like the Biggie Tupac thing, kind of, but for Norwegian black metal. He's killing Euronymous from Mayhem, 1993. Went to jail for like 21 years for that. Complete. Talk about Jordan Peterson aligned, totally, like times 100. Keep a good intro to the Purple Boys too, actually, Farg. Does anybody know? Please tell me I have a lot. Please tell me I'm down to like 20 people. 32. Damn it. PWL 7991. Weed oil. Whoever says that. What's it called then? What would you call marijuana that's been distilled into oil? Look at these guys. They're coming for the show. Look at this. This guy's drunk. For sure. Is he gonna pee? No. That'd be cool. Are we down to somewhere in the 20s yet? Are people leaving? Please tell me we're in the 20s. 26. We're getting there. Although it seems to oscillate and goes back up to 33. What was I talking about? Distillates. So or carts. It's not vape though. So it's oil that you just put under your tongue. Like it's just oil, and then you put the dropper in and you put it under your tongue, and then you're high for like 5 hours. Like it's great. I got 30 to 0 THC. I don't want any fucking bullshit. I don't want any CBD, CBN, CBG. I invested in a CBG company that went tits up. I don't care about CBG. THC. Just want me the fucking THC. Vegan grass. Will you ever do call-ins? I don't know. I always hate when people call in. First time caller, long time listener. Hey, the Raptors, great game. Should they trade for Russell Westbrook? Yeah, that'd be great. What I do want to find are just like the craziest people from the subreddit. Pay them per appearance and just feed them. Just fucking feed them meat and just let them kill each other. Like that would be what I really want to do. Call-ins, like not so much. That's kind of a bit on the nose or whatever. But yeah, getting people on the subreddit who have a certain set of skills, like really aggressive, really confident, and really dumb. And getting like 8 or 10 of them on this show that I'm like moderating, and just like asking them, Raptor stuff, and having it'd be like an anti-debate debate. Like it's a debate, but the audience is in on the bit that these are all fucking idiots. But they're like, hey, I finally have a platform. Like this is the stuff I think about. I already have a bunch of people targeted that I think would be great for the show. That's what I really want to do. But I want to I don't think people will do that for free. I think you'd have to probably pay them or something. But yeah. Call-ins, though. I don't even know how to do that with this technology. You have to get like StreamYard or something. I guess. I mean, my voice is fucking shot. I've been talking for 3 hours. Jesus. 3 hour show. I don't even have a Jordan Peterson left in me. So 3 hours are coming up on 1 minute left. 3 hours. I guess it is a new year. Are we down to 26? 26 people. I don't know if I'll be able to wait this out. I might just take the W on hitting 3 hours and then peace out. But we're close. We're at 2 hours 59:25. I'm knocking out multiple banter pods per week here, folks. It's funny. Sometimes around like the minute 23, after I've like read through all my notes for the game, I'm like, I don't have anything else to say. And now it's 2 hours, 59 minutes, and 50 seconds. 10, 9. This is the actual New Year's count. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We hit 3 hours. We have hit 3 hours. What the fuck am I doing? What are you guys doing? 20? Is there 26 of you? 28 keeps going. There's gonna be. When I close this down, there's gonna be back to like 32. If I did have a call-in show, though, I guess it would be fun to like argue with people, maybe. Have like an anti-show where I bring on just like people I don't like. That would be good. And just kind of do like a sarcastic show. That could be a good entry point. I thought about doing a show where I break down keys to the VIP highlights. A Toronto culture classic, by the way, from the 2000s. Anybody watch Keys to the VIP? No, stop. I'm not feeding you any information. Don't engage. Please, I'm playing chicken here. 28 people. Damn it. Max P. Combo Breaker happy. Already wasting 2024. Happy 3 hours. Top 3 foods of all time. So I'm not a big food person. It's like if I had to lose one sense, what is there, 5 senses? I'd lose taste, I think. Like I wouldn't even be like, okay. Then I would just eat healthy every day. That'd be great, actually. 3 foods. I don't know. I'd say like cuisine wise, I'd go Japanese, Lebanese, Thai, Mexican. That'd be my S tier. Japanese, Thai, Lebanese, Mexican. That's the S tier. A tier would be like Vietnamese, Peruvian. Yeah. Vietnamese, Peruvian. I'm going to say Cambodian as well. Malaysia would be in between A and S. Indonesia would be right up there too. China, not so much. Apologies. I got roasted for this earlier and someone said, well, Chinese food is more than one type of food, so you can't dislike Chinese food. That's like saying you dislike European food. Well, guess what, Dick? I don't like European food either. Do you hear any European countries on my list? You think I like schnitzel or some shit? Fuck off. British pub food. I don't like Chinese food. I don't like European food. No, I like some Chinese food. But it'd be above European food. But it'd be like more B tier, I think. Lots of Chinese food in Vancouver. It's not that like I haven't had it. It just hasn't quite hit for me as much as other spots. I mean, I guess. Oh, Italian. I forgot about Italian, which is really hacky, but I do like Italian. Italian's S tier as well, actually. That's European. Italy is part of the European Union Foundation. there is a high unemployment rate in Italy, but they will always have a ground level value because of the tourist industry that visits Italy every year. Me and my family went last year. We saw Naples and got into the history of Napoleon Dynamite and all the people from Naples. And I want to go to Sicily. Sicily looks like low-key, underrated, off the grid a little bit. It's the ball next to the boot. It's been kind of ruled by a lot of different people, so there's lots of like cool architecture from like Africa and the Middle East and Europe. So Sicily looks cool as shit. Cool beaches. Yeah, Italian food's up there. What is French food even? Like pastries and shit, bagels, baguettes, I guess. Is a baguette a bagel? Baguette. No, that's like Vietnamese sandwiches, subs, have baguettes because France ruled Vietnam for a while. And I was in Dalat, Vietnam, in the province called Lam Dong, which pretty cool. And that was a French like vacation place in the mountains. A lot of waterfalls. If you look up Elephant Falls, Vietnam, very beautiful. I kind of slid down these rocks with my shitty flip-flops. Probably pretty dangerous, but it was really fun. And then it was like a ways outside of town. Like it was kind of out in the middle of nowhere. And it's probably about like 3-4 o'clock, and I'm like, hey, I'm gonna go back into town. And so I tried to wait for this bus. The same bus that took me there. I'm like, oh, I'm sure it'll come. I'm sure the same bus will come back. You know, I didn't check or anything, but. And the bus like picked me up in the middle of the town. Because it's like 200,000 people probably, so bigger than a town. But we're picking up mail. I have a few Vietnam bus stories, by the way. But yeah, so we're out in the middle of fucking nowhere in the Lam Dong province. There's like pine trees and shit. It's really beautiful, but out in the middle of nowhere, I'm waiting for this bus, and I think like 40 minutes go by, and I'm like, okay, I don't know if this bus is coming. So I get in a taxi. So I'm in this taxi. We're driving on the highway, and there's this car wreck on the highway. And so we take we're probably like 30 kilometers from the city, Dalat. And so we take this like side road. So we're like already in the middle of nowhere. Not middle of nowhere, but kind of far. Probably maybe, yeah. But like it really feels like, not much there. These like Vietnam farm fields, basically. So we're like deep in these farm fields, taking these side streets, and it's kind of going on forever. And finally, the taxi driver's being like really apologetic. He's like, he's not charging me per whatever. Like he turned the meter off. He's like, I'm sorry. I'm like, yeah, it's cool. So we're like trying to find our way back to like get away from the car wreck on the highway. And we roll up to this farm, and this family comes out, and the kid is wearing a U.S. military jacket. Like, how? I still think about that. Like, how does that happen? Does anybody in the chat have any ideas? Like, the kid was like 8 or 9. It's like, did they find that in a field somewhere? Did they how is that? Like, that image, I'll never forget that image. It was like, it was crazy. Top 3 movies you watched in 2023. Oh God. Lord of the Rings 1, Lord of the Rings 2, Lord of the Rings 3. There you go. I mean, that kind of is the answer, even though I've seen them before. But no. Honestly, actually, I got a good one for you. I got a couple good ones for you, actually. There's one movie that I watched, and it instantly became, not instantly, but I think I watched it 4 times in the first week. This was like 6 months ago. So I was researching, I think Dial M for Murder by Hitchcock, which is already like a top 3 movie for me. I think I was like researching that, and it was a Scorsese interview, and it was on YouTube. And Scorsese just started talking about this movie called The Sweet Smell of Success, just randomly brought it up. And just the way he was talking about it, and I'm a big Scorsese fan. Not like, I don't think he's like I'm not one of those people who's like, oh my God, it's like the only movie I watch is Scorsese movies. But I like Scorsese. But he was talking about The Sweet Smell of Success, just brought it up randomly, kind of out of the blue, unprompted. And just the way he was talking about the dialogue in it, I was just like, okay, I gotta go. There's something told me to go watch it. And fuck, man, that movie is crazy good. Like, it's got Burt Lancaster, Tony Curtis. I think it won like some awards, but I don't think it like. I think it's one of those ones that kind of came up afterwards. It's black and white, which I tend to like. From 1957, and it's so relevant today. It's like the main character writes a column, like a newspaper column, in the biggest newspaper, and that was like the internet back then. Like that was like the thing. And if you got into this column, you were like the shit. Like it was like the thing to just get even a sentence to get into this guy's column. And so he's like character 1A, this guy. Character 1B is this snarly, like, really will do anything to get ahead, and he works. He's the guy who, he's like a press agent. So he has all these clients that he's trying to get into this column. And the guy who runs the column is in love with his sister. So pretty weird guy, played by Burt Lancaster. Incredible acting, but weird fucking guy. He figured that out pretty quickly. And so this snarling press agent, his task now, the trade-off, is he has to break up the sister's relationship with this musician guy so that she can kind of be with her brother. And if he does this, he gets to run the column and get all of his clients in, make a bunch of fucking money. It's a crazy movie. It's like I watched it like 4 times in the first week. Like the dialogue is just so cutting. The acting is crazy. Like the guy who plays the snarling like press agent, he's like my favorite. Acting played by Tony Curtis, and apparently he used to star more in like, you know, Fun Guy at the Beach or comedies or whatever. Like this movie is like dark as shit. The soundtrack is great, very Hitchcocky soundtrack. You got the low cello and like strings and stuff. The backdrop is New York, and you really feel like you're in New York. The cinematographer James L. Wong has won a ton of awards. He was like a big Hollywood guy back in the 50s, 60s. And great movie. Another really good movie. I don't know if it's top. Yeah, I call it top 3. It was Marty with Ernest Borgnine from 1955. Kind of a rom-com, but not really. Like it's about this guy. He's 35. He lives at home with his mom. He's an Italian guy, and he owns a butcher shop, or he works for a butcher shop. He wants to own one, but he works for a butcher shop. And the first half of the movie is everyone telling him like, why aren't you married? You should be married. Like, especially his mom, like, why don't you go out tonight? Go to the club, meet a nice girl, go get married. What are you doing living on your own? You're going to be 36 next year and you're not married. What are you doing? You got to go get married. Like, he's hearing all this shit all the time, constantly. It's like he's like this nice, sweet guy or whatever. And then he goes out to a club, and this girl gets treated really poorly by the guy she's with, and then she's like crying, and then he helps her out, and then they start dancing and talking, and then they kind of spend like a date together. Like they're dancing, then they go for coffee, and they really connect. Like they really, like this is finally someone that he like likes, and it's really funny because like the first half of the movie, there's scenes in it where you could, out of context, would be very incel-y, and there's actually a scene from that on YouTube with him and his mom. And you just look at the YouTube comments, and people think it's like a pro incel movie. It's actually like the opposite, but it's just funny out of context. People stumble across it, like, yeah, women suck, or dating sucks, or women don't value men, or whatever. But it's actually this very toxic, gaslighting mom having this. Anyway, so he meets this girl. They hit it off. They really like each other. But now he introduces this girl to his mom and to his family, and they hate her because she's not Italian. She's not Catholic. She's not, they invent all of these things that she's not. And then you realize as the viewer that this guy's been gaslit by all these people around him being like, you're not married. You're not married. What are you doing? You're not married. And then finally, when he meets somebody, they just like go for the jugular. And it's a great movie. It's a great movie. It's very gaslighty. It's almost like Rosemary's Baby in that sense. Those are two. That was from 1955, also black and white. Third one, Fast Five. I remember everything about my father. I remember everything about my father. If you're ever on a flight, if you're ever flying from like Vancouver to Shanghai or something, if you ever happen to be doing that, just watch 6 Fast and Furious movies in succession. It's great. It's great. 5 is my favorite. I remember everything about my father. With like the burial music in the background, the close up to Paul Walker, R.I.P. You know, and he's just like, Jay Michelle, am I tripping or is this live? No, this is live. PWL, not a big food person. What the fuck does that mean? It means that it's my least favorite sense. I'd get rid of it. I don't really. The only time I ever really got into food was when I was in Thailand, and you can just get stuff for so cheap. Like you can just go out, get 3 dishes, and it's like $1.25, and you start experimenting. That was cool. But in general, I think for me, I don't like cooking. It's just like the ROI is crazy. You spend like 3 hours cooking something that you eat for like 30 seconds. I don't know. Not a fan of it. Don't like it. PW7991 says this is live. It is, but if you're late to the party, I've been trying to get people to. I'm basically doing like a chicken type thing where I'm waiting until there's nobody left and then I'll leave. But I don't know how realistic that is because for some reason the numbers keep like it'll be 20. Okay, it's 26 now, but then it'll jump to like 32. So it's like I have to wait for 32 people to leave before I can leave. But then they might be like an hour into the video. They might have gone back to the beginning and be like, I just want to hear about RJ Barrett playing bully ball or Sam Merrill. I just want to hear about Sam Merrill above the break threes. Something like that. 3 hours and 17 minutes and 44 seconds. The window isn't open either, so there's no air in this room. My throat's dry. I'm exhausted. Vegan grass. Thailand is great for vegetarians. Fuck, stop feeding me. No pun intended. Great topics to talk about. Yes, that's actually where I originally went vegan. That's a good... Oh, my neck hurts. This microphone's heavy. The lights are bright. I was in Chiang Mai, Thailand, in the north. And I had a fruit guy, this guy that always had fruit out on this cart. And I used to practice my Thai with him. Kopan Pak, Sawadee Kap. Wait a sec. Fuck. Kun Sawadee Kap, Kun Shuarai, Kun Pap, Sawadee Kap. You just hear that all the time. Sawadee Kap, Sawadee Kap. Very nice. Very nice. But I had a fruit guy, practiced my Thai. Pom Chuarai, Sawadee Kap. I learned how to say that's really expensive. That was really good for the markets. And they'd be like, oh, okay, cool. That's the thing. If you go to another country, just if you're like haggling for shit, you just need like one line and they respect you. I think there's like a guy climbing on something behind me, or that's like a balloon. But yeah, so I was it was like next to the fruit guy was a meat dick. Trailer Park Boys reference. Meat dicks. He has some meat cart or something. I don't know why I just never ate random street meat when I was there, but I don't know. I was just like, I walked past this thing a bunch of times. There's a bunch of skewers. Like, why not? I had played with being vegan for a while or on and off, whatever, but I just like bit into this thing and had like a spiritual awakening. Just like the combination of like the texture, it was sandpapery, but chewy, but cold. Like it was just so nasty. And I spat it out. And then I tried to give it to this dog that I had kind of a vibe with. And he was like, fuck, dude. Like, get that away from me. Like, he ran away. And normally he would like eat whatever I gave to him. So it just hit me. I went vegan for like 13 months after that. And then it's been on off, but for the last 3 years now, I guess. Sometimes I go back to vegetarian, but not meat. So yeah, great place though, Thailand. And then I ended up living at a raw vegan retreat for 7 months. It was a yoga, Muay Thai, raw vegan retreat in Thailand. 5 stars. Beautiful. $500 a day to stay there. I got to stay there for free. Long story, but I had a shaman connection. So, I was spending 45 minutes a day in the ice bath. Beautiful ice bath. They'd bring in these huge cubes, like 70-pound cubes, like bigger than my torso. Just drop them in. This little crane thing. Just drop in these 70-pound ice things. Just and there was a steam room right next to it. And the guests, it was like a cult. We lived there in like a cult. It was crazy. My girlfriend at the time who lived there, or who worked there and lived basically, like everyone kind of lived either there or like adjacent to the property. Like we lived across the street, like half a block across the street from the property. Like I could be from our bedroom. I could go from our bedroom to the ice bath in 27 seconds. And the guests would all go to bed at like 9 because the workouts started at like 6 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m., like sunrise yoga on the beach, sunrise Kundalini yoga. So guests would go there and it's like a 5-star hotel. There was like a pool and all that stuff. But then there'd be classes like all day, every day, like random crazy shit, like Reiki, sound bath healing, but then physical stuff, Muay Thai, hiking, weightlifting, Muay Thai cardio, Muay Thai blah, 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 all this shit. So the guests would all get up at like 5, 6 a.m. So 9 p.m., they're like out cold. So I would have the ice bath all to myself. There was this huge, massive cat named Jake, big orange cat. He would be fucking around too around the ice bath. I'd be hanging out with him. I'd have like my turmeric tea that I would get. I could go into the kitchen. I could eat whatever I wanted at any time, anything from the kitchen, whatever I wanted. So I grabbed my tea, maybe a protein chocolate thing or whatever. It was all vegan, but grab my tea and then I would go into the ice bath. And I would go in the ice bath during the day too. Like you get back from the beach, it's hot, you go in the ice bath. But at night, all by myself, girlfriend wouldn't even, she was like sleeping, by myself in the ice bath. And then I would go ice bath, steam room, ice bath, steam room, ice bath, steam room. Like that's how I wound down every night. It was like the best. What am I talking about? 22 left. 21. We're losing people fast. There we go. 21. Good morning. It's 1:30. No, it's 10:30 my time. Vegan grass. I've been to Chiang Mai. Excellent fruit for cheap. Mangosteens were fire. When were you there? Oh, God, I love Chiang Mai. Honestly, Asia just felt like so overwhelming and like just kind of wild and crazy. Like I wasn't having the best time at first. And then when I got to Chiang Mai, something just clicked. I randomly met a bunch of digital nomads. Where did you stay in Chiang Mai, Mr. Vegan Grass? So I stayed in Santitam, which is between the walled city and Niemen/Nieman. But I was there September. I was in Chiang Mai specifically like October 15th, 2016 until January 12th, 2017. I was in Chiang Mai. So like 3 months. Got an apartment there, $180 a month Canadian, including internet and everything. I mean, just crazy. Just don't have to worry about money at all. Yeah. I love Chiang Mai. Cool place. Woke up from a nap and he's still going. Vegan grass. Stay away from digital nomads. LMAO. Dude. Honestly, like I've had a lot of movie ideas. That is probably the movie I should write because I was there for 3 months. Like I was into it. Like I had just finished a digital marketing school program. So I could build websites, could edit pictures, make videos, like could do everything that a digital nomad. Dude, I saw some crazy shit. I saw people making $300,000 a month on fidget spinners. And then I saw people making nothing a month. Oh, dude, some of the stories. Like, it got criminal at one point. There was these two twins. Actually, this has to be a movie. And I would do it kind of like in a Boogie Nights template. But anyway, long story. But these two, like, they advertise themselves as twins. They're from, like, Indiana. And literally their aliases, their last names were Atlas. You can't script this stuff. Travis Atlas. Who actually, one of them wrote an ebook. I'll never forget. It wrote an ebook, How to Shoot Threes Better Than Steph Curry. I remember that. That was like one of their businesses or something. But anyways, they like sold a course on how to make money as a digital nomad and had never made like money before. And there's like so much of that there. Like people selling these courses, putting on these seminars. And I became buddy with this guy who he wasn't making $300,000 a month, but he was making like $26,000 a year. And I was like, that's okay. Like, that's impressive. You're selling computer chairs from China. Cool. I can wrap my head around that. I shouldn't say they were making $300,000 a month. They were putting a lot on their credit card because they're all competing with each other. This was back in like the wild west of Facebook. It was all Facebook ads, by the way. Like all this was driven by Facebook ads. Some of them had Amazon FBA stores, but this was all Facebook ads. 2016, there's like no rules on drop. It was all drop shipping. Which, if you don't know what that is, it's when you have a website that sells computer shares. But you don't own any of the computer shares. Somebody buys your computer share. You send the message to, usually there's this one place called, I think Zhangzhou in China, where like 90% of the stuff happens. And then they mail it to most likely America. I met this really cool guy in Vietnam who made tables, but it was like real. Like he got like trees that had been at the bottom of the ocean off the coast of Panama for like hundreds of years, and would make these tables out of them and would sell them for like $20,000 to like rich people in Soho, and it'd be in magazines and shit. That guy was fucking cool. And he had lived there for like 20 years. But the digital, digital nomads, just, yeah. The meetups. God, it's such a good movie though. That guy actually, yeah. Don't go down that road. I don't want to go. Yeah, that's, yeah. But we were going to, the dream or the plan or whatever was to make a bunch of money and then start like a cat rescue. You know, there's a cat at the end of the Raptor Moments videos. I joke about starting a dog, rescue cat. This has kind of always been a thing. He was super into cats too. And we would go out of our way to go to cat places and all that. I started dating this girl who was doing fentanyl, and she was there with her dad in Chiang Mai on vacation. And she was at the pool where this friend of mine was living. Like, she was like staying or living there, and she's at the pool reading a book. I started talking to her. Really into like System of a Down and Iron Maiden. She's from Sweden. Really cool, but like really into fentanyl. And there with her 6'8" physically abusive father. And that became a situation where I kind of tried to become like a rescue type thing. And then I tried to talk to him about it, and he just was like, don't give a shit. I just want to sell fucking shit online. I don't give a fuck about your relationship problems. I don't think you should be dating anybody. Because we were up like till 4 a.m. every day trying to do this shit, like trying to sell shit. We were just trying to sell, building websites, like a new website like every other day, just like trying to get traction on Facebook ads. I didn't even have my computer with me. I didn't even want to be a digital nomad. I didn't have my laptop. In Chiang Mai, there's World of Warcraft gaming studios that you can rent. You can rent out individual computers, like 10 cents an hour. Great computers, by the way. Great for Photoshop. I would just download the free Photoshop trial on the computer. Or the free like Adobe Premiere trial or whatever, back when you can do the 7-day trials. I don't know if you can still get away with that anymore. But it'd work every day. I'd just start a new trial, start a new email account or something. Just be up till 4 a.m. pounding 7-Eleven coffees. But yeah, he didn't care about the fentanyl girl, and that all went sideways. And he was like, yeah, I don't care. Stop talking about it. And then we kind of fell off a bit after that. And then he made a bunch of money doing that, and then he ended it. Like, he's no longer on the planet. He made a bunch of money and just became like miserable. I don't know. Yeah. And then dark timeline. That probably keep that out of the movie. I think in the movie it's more of a, because everything up to that point was kind of a comedy. But in the movie, we're successful, and we buy like a property outside of Chiang Mai, and it's just a big cat rescue place, because cat videos, dog videos, like that stuff goes viral. You pair that with product, boom, give the cats personalities, make them influencers, whatever. Yeah, Chiang Mai's cool, my favorite place in Chiang Mai was the North Gate Jazz Bar. You'd sit like above the musicians. Like, there'd be 50 people outside on the sidewalk. It's this little bar, North Gate Jazz Bar. There'd be different gates. There's like Taipei Gate, North Gate, because it's a walled city, cool ass city. And you'd sit like above the musicians, like your feet would be dangling like on the drummer. Like, it's just wild. And there'd be like 60 people on the sidewalk, but you get there early to get the seats, like sitting above everybody. But yeah, I went to Chiang Mai accidentally, by the way. I went to Thailand accidentally. I wasn't even supposed to go to Thailand. Then I wasn't even supposed to go to Chiang Mai. I was supposed to do Vietnam, Cambodia. And then I was supposed to go for 2 weeks. It turned into a year. I wasn't supposed to go to Chiang Mai. I was in Riley Beach in the south, got deathly ill. This was during the elections, Trump and Hillary. So the most sick I've ever been in my entire life. Like, thought I was dying, like in my little hut, just watching the fucking debates. Watching the Trump Hillary debates, just, oh my God, just dying for like 4 days. And by the way, fun fact, all resorts there in Riley Beach. No street food, no little hole-in-the-wall restaurants that I'd normally eat at. Just straight resorts. So I got sick off of some resort, and it's the only time I got sick in Asia. The rest of it, when I was eating in crazy places, never got sick. But when I went to some resort place, I got sick. But anyways, that was more in the beginning of my trip. And as I was in that state of thinking I was dying, I bought a plane ticket. Like, I wasn't even like I was so sick that I was like transported to like another universe. Like I couldn't even process. Like I couldn't even, like, going down to get like bread or like a banana or something. Like, it felt like the Matrix or something. So in my crazy state of mind, I was like, I just want to get as far away from this fucking island as I possibly can. This is the thing in all the postcards, Riley Beach. This is like the big Thailand, like this and the James Bond rock, whatever the fuck. This is like the picturesque, exact postcard version of Thailand. And I'm like dying. And so in that state of mind, I just booked a flight to the furthest place from there, which was Chiang Mai. That was like within the country. And it's just like, all right, I guess I'm going there. So that's how I ended up in Chiang Mai. And then I was there for 3 months. So. Did you try durian? No, I did not. I smelt it a few times and was like, no. 24 people. There's still 24 people. It was like 26, 28, 32, 26, 28, 30, 31, 22, 28. I think we got down to 21 at one point. 22. Okay. Yeah, I think I'm going to pass. My voice is fucking shot. I can't even talk anymore. Raptors, they won. It was like a day ago. All right. The Raptors win.